Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a very special Time Variance Authority approved edition of Monster Party.
Monster Party!
Monster Party! Monster Party! Monster Party! Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. That's my superhero music that is supposed to sound like a superhero theme, but we didn't get the rights.
Well, you can do sound effects.
Variant version. You can do that, yes.
But speaking of sound effects, who are you, sir?
I am Matt Weinhold.
I'm SHAWN SHERIDAN.
I'm Larry STROTHE.
And I'm James GONIS.
And for this episode, this is a topic that we're revisiting. We've done it, I believe, twice before.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one that we love. It's one that is extremely popular right now.
Yes,
And
huge.
big.
It's big. It's a big topic. And
Explosive.
it is. And everywhere you look, you are going to bump into this topic.
Yes. It's easily can warrant many episodes.
Oh, my goodness,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
No, we can do them till like the end of time.
Yes.
So here
What
we go.
is this?
But is there an
Timely.
end to time, though?
Yes.
No, because there's variants.
That's
So we
right.
can even fill up the variants.
That's right.
Yes, that's how much material there is in this.
But
Cool.
what is this amazing, spectacular topic?
The topic is Superheroes, Volume 3, Marvel, DC, and Beyond.
Superheroes, Volume 3, Marvel, DC, and beyond.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Here we go again.
Quite potent topic.
You know, it
Just
seems
such a
like...
robust
Oh,
genre now these days. My God. It's
Yeah.
It's probably the leading genre right now in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, pretty
And
much.
I would say it is the most consistently overall good.
Yeah. Especially
Genre.
lately, in the last couple decades, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And it's amazing that you would think that it would ever have gotten to this place, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
but Matt, this is a huge topic. It's a big topic. It's popular. It's massive. Who could we get? What brilliant mind could we get to help guide us through this fantastic topic?
Well, we needed to get somebody who is an expert, but not only an expert, but a friend. Someone who likes this stuff as much as we do and that
Yes.
knows it and reads comics and watches the movies and the TV shows. And we got a friend of the show. Someone
Friend
we
of
had
the
on
show.
numerous times before. She's a very good friend of mine. And just the thought of her puts a skip in my step. Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
And a fold in my cape. I don't know what that means.
I you know what? I bought it. I bought
Okay.
it. But she
Okay.
is spectacular.
She
and
is. She is
super.
a. She
She's
is.
super.
She is. She is a super amazing comedian, critically acclaimed. We are just so lucky to have her on our show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Jackie KASHIAN.
Jackie Cation! Yeah!
First thing I'd like to do is to thank SHAWN SHERIDAN for his introduction. I think the input of SHAWN SHERIDAN has really brought this show to
Thank
its.
you. I outdid myself this time.
Yeah. No, he does a lot of like nodding. He's like that wise beatnik at the 1950s
Yes.
pool party who just kind of just nods, plays on his bongos very
Yeah.
quietly, and
Sure.
judges.
I love it.
He's like our Yoda, though.
I love
He
it.
is, yeah.
He is, but not the child.
Oh, no.
Which is not really, or do we know? Is that it's not Yoda? It's. I know that it's. What's the name of
No,
that?
it's the species.
It's the species.
Grogu.
Yes.
Grogu.
Grogu.
Yeah.
Yes.
Grogu, yeah.
But do we
but-
know that it's not going to end up revealing itself to be Yoda?
No,
Well,
it's not the right,
as a
no,
plot
it's not the right
point?
timeline. It's not
But-
the
It
right.
can't be.
Is it?
No, it
Yoda.
can't be.
But as
By the way, that's a
fascinating.
different giant
Yes,
franchise,
yes,
by the way.
yes.
I don't know Star
No,
Wars. Come
no,
on.
As fascinating as that is, we're here with Jackie to talk about superheroes.
Superheroes.
Arguably, the child is a superhero. Arguably, Yoda is.
Yeah.
True.
It's true.
There you
The
go.
Mandalorian definitely, I would say,
Okay,
is a.
all right.
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
okay. That's great. Let's just.
Well, what's wrong with saying that the Mandalorian is a superhero?
There's so much more out there with
Well, no, but
Marvel,
why are
DC,
you-
and beyond.
why are you putting
He's
your
beyond.
fascist
Yeah.
foot down on my choice of superhero, which is the Mandalorian at this moment?
We did a
It is a
Mandalorian
dark-
episode.
Did you do a full Mandalorian episode?
No,
well,
You
no, we
well,
didn't, Jackie.
kind of.
Well, no,
kind
yeah,
of.
we did.
The full episode.
How short is your memory?
Yeah,
It
yes. What's
wasn't
wrong
just the
with you?
Mandalorian,
But it was Mandalorian centric. It was,
but it wasn't
90%
just the Mandalorian.
Okay,
No, but
let's
Play back
not,
the tape.
Let's
Yeah.
not
Jackie,
fight.
Jackie, play back the tape.
Let's
go back
not
to the
fight.
tape.
Let's,
I'm sharing
let's just,
screen right now.
let's
What?
just say that there's a lot of stuff coming out right now.
Yes, there
in
is.
that
Yes.
whole Marvel DC universe, and stuff has come out. There's stuff coming out of the future. I think Sean said it best about this. This is a very magical time.
it's
Kids.
I think I said that first, but
Oh, okay.
that's fine.
Well,
superhero fans are so lucky though right now. These last several years. I mean, my
did
God.
we ever think that this would
Yeah.
happen when we
Because
were growing
grew
up?
up? Yeah,
When we were being beaten up as children, we did
Right.
not think that this would happen.
right.
It's true. Because now everything nerdy is cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and I can
superheroes
talk
are
to a
that's the
pile of-
ultimate genre that's nerdy that people
Yeah. I can talk to a pile of haircuts and they're like, I too enjoyed the Black Widow or whatever, right?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
It's like it's
Which kind of
super
pisses me
cool
off
now.
a little bit. Yeah.
A little
whoa,
bit, because
whoa.
give
Wait.
it back. Give it back.
Wait a minute.
There's
Wait
a
a
big
minute.
enough umbrella. We could let him in. There's plenty
Well,
of room on
true.
the bandwagon, as the kids say.
And I love the fact that it is popular means that we're going to get more of it, and that now we have the technology to pull a lot of this stuff off. And it does seem, especially in the Marvel universe, that they really are doing these projects with a lot of care.
The
Yes.
storytelling is amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And just as a basis, we know that comic books are an opportunity to be the most inclusive because they can be written and drawn by everyone, and they can be about everything. And they're usually like this deep topics, right? WandaVision was about grief, and Falcon and Winter Soldier was about
terrorism and
racism and
yeah.
one world, one people, man. Anyway,
yeah, I know,
so,
but it's kind of amazing because comic books, especially, I remember like reading Marvel comics as a kid and always loving the way a character in a scene would make a reference to something, and there'd be a little anecdote like referencing this is referencing issue number whatever in this comic book. It created that shared universe in the comics, and what the MCU does so well is realize all the depth and layers there is to that universe, and really milks it for everything. Like it's
that
an
same
incredibly
thing.
dense, multi-layered universe that can be explored in so many ways. And because it's kind of fantasy too, you can go so many ways with it.
And the thing that I always loved and hated as a kid going into comic books, and the first comics that I really loved were Marvel comics. I loved Spider-Man.
Me too.
And but I always
Spider-Man and Wolverine.
The X-Men. I mean, come on, right?
Well, but those are your intro. You're just like, he's quippy and a kid, and I love a teen superhero, and Wolverine is your grumpy
badass.
uncle.
But the story arcs.
Yeah.
It would go on, and you'd get to the end of an issue, and it would say to be continued, and you'd be like, "What? This is not how, this is not how Richie Rich ends his
Right.
But then you start getting into the story, and it becomes like a soap opera, but in a good way. And I never thought in a million years that they would do this with movies and TV, where they'd, as Sean was saying, like replicate the vast world of a comic universe.
Yeah.
And with some obscure characters too coming in there.
But also with real characters and depth. Yeah. Like I anyone who says, oh, they're just like silly superhero movies. The MCU,
they've never seen them.
These are dramatic situations with multi-level characters that go through all kinds of stuff. Whether some movies are weaker than others and some aren't, but overall, they're putting as much care into the writing and the characters as any straight drama or romantic comedy or anything else.
Totally agree.
And any book and any
Yes.
and they get to cherry pick 50 years of comic
Oh
books.
my
which
gosh,
is-
they're doing it really well. Like, because they'll make nods to certain things. They'll maybe change around some things for the movies, but it's done with such love.
Yeah.
And
Sean,
like,
it's so funny, that comment that you made. It's like, I understand when the studio tries to sell a film and you put together a trailer and it seems very flashy and electric, and when you watch it, some people get turned off. They go, "Oh, it's just like a special effects movie." And you're right. I don't think these people have actually seen it.
Right.
I think listeners will remember Martin Scorsese famously made a comment that it had a backlash about this was with the whole Endgame thing, which was phenomenal.
Which I think is still the highest grossing film of all time, right?
Yes.
Which I'm going to totally watch on my phone, by the
Right.
way, right now.
See, the funny thing is, Martin Scorsese, I admire. He's an amazingly talented filmmaker.
Not familiar.
Well,
said-
look, I'm not sure if he had actually seen the movies, and then he kind of backpedaled and it said, "Well, you didn't really understand what I was
Larry,
saying."
what is it you have to put in context? What was it that he kind of commented on?
He
quote.
said that these are films that aren't necessarily great films. They're
not like real movies.
They're not
that's
real
what he
movies.
said,
They're like
not real
roller
movies.
coaster films or what. And I remember thinking to myself, have you seen it? There's so much emotion. There's so much hurt, pain, sacrifice.
But they're movies. I mean, just because they're giant budgets with incredibly elaborate, crazy special effects doesn't mean it can't have real drama and characters. That's why
They're also a series, though. They're a series, and they require a certain amount of commitment and interactivity. And if he only saw Ultron, then I can't blame him for what he said.
Or Captain Marvel.
Yeah, then you're lost. You're lost.
Yeah.
You think
It's true, but that's the genius of the MCU, because they know that the audience is out there. There's a huge audience for this stuff, and they will commit, and they will be roped in, and they will buy it, and they will go for all of it. When it's good, right? If it's good,
and they will be, in this case, rewarded.
Yes.
Because your commitment, your attention to all that detail, it pays off so much, and then you're engaged in a way that nothing else.
It becomes it's such a fully realized universe.
It's so funny. Right after Endgame had come out, there was this footage of like opening night at either the El Capitan Theater or some other theaters where you got audience reactions at various scenes, and the audience was just. There were certain things that happened that were tragic, and you could hear a pin drop. And then there are certain moments that were so yes, and the audience just went nuts. And just watching this video just got me so excited. I remember when I saw it too, the emotion and the level of intensity in these films is just phenomenal. And I think it makes me mad that someone could just toss away these films as, that's just a popcorn movie. There's a lot that goes into these films, which I think, has made these things like, I mean, they've had such a great track record since they started way back in 2005, 2009.
It was very smart. It was very smart when the first Iron Man film came out. Wasn't that the first one where at the end credits you had the first appearance of
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury saying, I have this thing to talk to you about the Avengers initiative, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure yeah, but I'm sure they put it on and think, well, look, we'll see.
I creamed in my tights. It was like one of those things where I was just like, oh my God, it's finally happening.
Yeah, but like think about, there's other movies that tried that where they set up a sequel that never happened because the movie didn't do well.
Yeah.
They didn't know if Iron Man was going to be a huge hit. It was a bit of a gamble, and just to do that, and then when it took off, it's like, wow, what a smart idea, and it just...
I would posit, I would say the Marvel Cinematic Universe is the gold standard, right? I mean, that's the one that is doing it with the care, with the interest in making it about everybody, for everybody, and going back into the Black Panther was amazing, right?
Yeah, I mean, hands down.
Right. I mean, I remember seeing some documentary where they were like, one of the things about television and movies is that most of the cinematographers and most of the lighting people and most of the camera people work with white people. And so what they had to do was to figure out how to shoot black people with darker skin tones, and make them look heroic and amazing and gorgeous. And I mean,
like
Michael
that's
B.
hard
Jordan,
to do.
Yeah, it's real hard to do with not with Michael B. Jordan, but with the rest of us.
Yes, right.
And so
Black Panther was just phenomenal. It's actually one of my favorites.
Well, the thing is you could say one of my favorites. There's 25 movies. And you're just like,
is one of my favorites.
I would say there's 11 that I'm like this. You know, I'm like, these 11.
Yeah,
you should probably see these 11.
But
and then
even
when
the
you're done with
weakest
those,
ones,
these other 14.
Even the weakest ones, there's still a lot to love.
There's some good stuff in it.
You're not going to have 100% every time, but
no. And Andy's favorite is Ant-Man. Which a lot of people
really
is not. Yeah,
it's not my favorite, but I didn't. You know what was funny is that when I first saw that movie, I had problems with it because I thought they were leaning a little too hard on this humor that wasn't all that funny. And and now I'm a little more forgiving. I mean, when the Hispanic guy has the car with the plays La Cucaracha.
I thought that was funny.
You thought that was funny, Larry?
I did.
It's hacky, is what it is, and that's what you were seeing, Matt. And that'll happen. I mean, the thing is there's hacky jokes because they're not written. Sometimes the humor is a little heavy-handed, but like the stuff where the salt and pepper shaker get enormous, that's a dumb joke that I almost fell out of my seat.
I like it more now. That entire film, and I do love Rudd. I think he's terrific.
It's weird, but what was pointed out to me that's great about Ant-Man is that it isn't about the big things. I mean, it is in the larger universe. It's about the big picture, but that particular movie is about that guy wanting to spend time with his daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And Jackie, I want to just add one thing. When you were mentioning thing about the studio, they also understand it, whereas I think other studios don't necessarily understand.
Like DC Universe.
Well, the other half I was going to say is that, because the best stuff that comes out of DC is the stuff that isn't so, like, they got so psyched about that Batman that was super dark, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And then they wouldn't stop. And you're just like, You're like, no, that Batman was great. It was super cool. I would also like to see the Batman where Batman's the only adult in town. Everybody else is a madman. And he's like, you guys, we are the grown-ups. What are you doing? And so that which is what was the TV show, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But the fact that there's variety, right.
Jackie, did you ever watch Batman, the Brave and the Bold, the animated series?
Yes.
That's I thought that was a really great example of balancing humor and the stoic image of Batman.
Right.
Yeah.
And Lego Batman was actually quite good too, though it was a little, I'm glad I don't have epilepsy. Parts of it are very funny.
Okay.
And in the Lego movie, I mean, it was really funny for the 15 minutes that it was in the Lego movie. I don't know that it could hold up for the entire Batman Lego movie.
Okay, sure.
But parts of it are very good, right?
It's like I said before, and I've said this many times, but it's true, is that the Marvel Universe knows how to make each movie has its distinct style and approach. Like Captain America, the first Avenger, he takes place in the 40s. Then the later ones. Yeah,
that's my favorite one.
It's in my top 5.
Yeah. Winter Soldier is like 3 Days of the Condor.
Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's one of the greatest action movies of all time.
Yeah. They're all in the universe, but they have their own identity and feel to them.
Yeah, and WandaVision was a sitcom, and Falcon and Winter Soldier was an action series.
Oh,
yes.
Buddy movie, right? And
Loki was like this crazy psychedelic, like mindfuck show.
You didn't like it, Matt?
No, I love it. I think Loki is one of those shows that made me happy to be alive again. It was one of those things where I was like, oh my God, this is good.
I was off and on with Loki, actually.
Really?
Loki is like
so was I, actually.
Loki is like a good season of Doctor Who to me, in a way.
I agree.
I will say this though, because I watched all the first season. The last episode has a particular guest performance that is extremely annoying and way overdone and just grating to me, but it didn't ruin the episode for me. But
we're not talking Richard E. Grant.
No. I don't want to ruin it, but it's the very last episode. But it's so inventive. And again, when we're talking about the TV shows, Loki, WandaVision, Falcon, and the Winter Soldier, all so different.
Yes,
right. And that's what I love about the universe.
That's what I love about the TV shows is that they what they're doing with the TV shows is they're allowing them to kind of stretch a little bit and take some chances,
explore those characters more.
And I would say the one that I was a little in and out with was Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Really? I like that.
I liked it.
Too,
Yeah.
I liked it, but I think that one.
Well,
I think that one has some
predisposed.
problems. But
We are all predisposed to like all of them, so I will say. But but it's interesting watching the movies go down to just not to belittle anything, but to go down to TV as opposed to the TV shows that were made specifically as TV shows. Like, I am possibly alone in this group. I enjoyed every episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I'm a huge fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I gave up after the first couple seasons.
Well, just exactly. Matt Weinhold just stomped out of the room. So,
wait a minute. They gave the Ghost Rider a car.
Amazing! It was an amazing car.
No!
That show went off the rails. They didn't know what to do after a while. It should have been. No, Jackie, it should have been.
Trying to change to
fulfill
your dreams. It tried to fulfill what I wanted it to be was that Office thing where they don't have any superpowers, and then all of a sudden Earthquake had to be Earthquake because you assholes were like, "There's no superpowers."
I didn't mind. No, I don't mind that. I don't mind that because look, I think they learned from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And so when they made the Falcon, the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and Loki, they kept it as a limited number of episodes.
Do I.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. should have been like 8 episodes and that's
Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Okay,
And,
can I just say one thing about Falcon and Winter Soldier? So the Falcon can't get a loan?
Yeah, no, that was an issue. That was.
I think in the real world,
we're not all as wealthy. We're not all as wealthy as you.
An Avenger can't get a loan.
Hey,
he's trying to go the straight line. Do you think?
I know, sure. Okay.
It was.
Okay.
James,
it brings up some of these issues. Like, look, there was a blip. And then,
I love that.
Was countered. So what does that do to the society and global economics?
Oh, I love all that stuff. Yeah.
That was,
but him not being able to get a loan was part of that.
It was part of that, but it was also an example of institutionalized white supremacism, which it doesn't matter that he's an Avenger. It matters.
Which means he would have gotten the loan because he is a celebrity.
But almost,
you could
but not
interpret
really.
it. Yeah,
sometimes, but it's
and it seemed like he went to one. Like, I know they only showed one bank.
Right.
Maybe he should have tried some more banks.
There was only 8 episodes, but if we're gonna pick it apart, we can pick apart.
Look, every Marvel vehicle.
You want me to go into Guardians of Galaxy?
I have to go into the banking aspect of it because.
There's that cliff in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that they throw women off of. That's unfortunate. The fact that they never addressed that the Red Skull runs that cliff. That's
what is he doing there?
Hey.
I'm kind of with you on that.
You should be with me. Because I want a one-shot, man. I want a one-shot so bad for the Red Skull and Captain America returning that Soul Stone. Just going, what are you doing here?
No, Red Skull. Red Skull. Cliff of Dames.
In fairness, we know of one woman that was tossed, and the other woman chose to throw herself.
They both tried to throw themselves off. It's true.
No,
but and then Guardians of the Galaxy.
You don't know how many people.
Drax, yes.
Yeah, you don't know how many people were thrown off that cliff, though. It could have been males, females, any other combination.
It was symbolic. It's trying to tell us that women be tripping.
Exactly, bitches, man. You just got to get rid of them.
And both moments brought a tear to my eye.
Of course. Are you kidding me? I had a
my heart out
tear when it was the Black Widow. That was my tear. I was like, as much as I love Hawkeye.
Well,
I didn't know how they were going to get out of that situation. I was clueless. I didn't know.
How do you not know to bring a third?
There's a lot of holes in that last.
There's no hole. There's no hole.
Predisposed to love it. Predisposed to love it.
I still like it.
I still like it.
I also love that they took a really obscure, not that well-known superhero team of the Guardians of the Galaxy from the comics and made them like one of the most successful movies ever. You know,
they did it right. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm one of these guys who I had
You
no
certainly
idea.
are. What?
I'm one of those guys who did not know about Guardians of the Galaxy. To me, it was totally made up for the movies.
No.
I had no idea. Look, I'm being honest.
No,
Okay,
I think most casual comic book readers
Yeah.
are not very well versed with
But
comic.
they,
right.
But they cherry picked the best parts of that and made it into a great
and
movie.
I'm married to a long box, which is a dick joke, and but I will say that I didn't know that they were. But it's great going to the movies with this guy because he's like, wait a minute, what just happened? Like he knows, like in WandaVision with Agatha and the colors and the all the Easter eggs. He was like, I'm pretty sure. And Loki, he was like, I know what's happening, and he doesn't always know, and he loves the game that we all love, which is guessing, right? Going down the rabbit hole of maybe it means this, and but there's a fun, horrible story in the Black Widow movie, which I don't know if you saw.
Well, I've not seen it.
I have not yet.
I have.
Just don't give it.
I have.
As long as you don't give any spoilers away.
And I loved it. But go ahead,
good.
Jackie.
It's wonderful, though. If you have not seen it, it's my favorite scene of the movie. And there was and maybe when you see it, Matt, you'll be able to see that the guy who wrote it was the guy who wrote Thor Ragnarok. And so it's a buddy movie and it's super quippy, and Florence Pugh is amazing.
Oh my God,
hilarious.
I love her. And Jackie, just really, Matt, I know you don't like a lot of funny little jokes. It's not quite that. No, it's not quite like that.
I like funny ones actually. I like funny ones.
I know
you
Jackie.
enjoy comedy. You enjoy when it's funny.
I don't want Jackie. Yes, Jackie. There's a lot of great moments, but I know Matt doesn't like the whole Ragnarok joke.
Well, no, Ragnarok is based on Planet Hulk, which I would have loved to have seen that as a film. But then they added all this, comedy routine stuff, which I think they could have dialed that back a bit.
I agree.
Matt Weinhold is married to Planet Hulk. It says he's bigamous.
Yes.
And so he enjoys the Hulk like some of us enjoy, I don't know.
I do. You're correct on that one. Yes.
The team of actors that they have in this Black Widow film, they're tremendous, and I think Jackie's absolutely right. Florence is just
right. But the guy who wrote this, he wrote this line that was just, I don't know. I don't think he's a comic because it was literally. I mean, I've been doing stand up for too long, so if there's a weird hacky joke, I'm like, what is happening? And and it will pull me out of a situation, obviously.
Sure.
Much like it will with cinematographers and directors and people who know more about film than I do. So, but I will say that I read an article, very powerful article, that said he wrote this line, which was this kind of hacky line, and the women, it was Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh, and I forget, I'm spacing the woman who played their mom.
That's Rachel Weisz.
Rachel Weisz, who's amazing, they were like, no, not happening, because it was just kind of it was a bitches
like a
kind
throwaway
of
line.
Yeah, it was a throwaway line, and they fucking pound him, and it is an outstanding scene where they ripped that.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was not.
Would you say, Jackie, it was kind of a comment from a male, an uninformed male, and they kind of turned it upon it?
Not even. Not even kind of. Yes.
Yeah.
It was just an idiot
who
said something. And it was written by a guy who has written other things that are very entertaining to me. But has written a dumb thing. And then other people said, that's a dumb thing. We're going to course correct.
Well,
and they did. It was great.
To have an environment where that actually happens, where somebody can walk on the set and go, hey, this isn't really working, and here's why. Let's riff this. That there's someone there that's going to go, yeah, go for it. That's what MCU totally feels. It feels that kind of where you're like, because everything is so top heavy with straight white guys that it's just nice to have. Everyone wants to be a good ally, and part of that is just being able to listen. And if you could hear from the other people going, because I just recorded the new album. And one of the bits that I was doing was this long bit I've been working on forever, longer because of COVID, but it was about gender and sexuality. And I remember back when I first started it, I would get people coming up to me going, heart's in the right place. There's a bit of trouble with the language. And I'd be like, just tell me, I will try to. Sure.
Because I wanted to do the bit. And by the 18 months later, that bit is now and I'm sure now that I've recorded, I'm going to write the perfect tags. In other news, but it's just being able to hear that I think that MCU does that not necessarily is not being heard. Even though Harley Quinn, have you guys seen Harley Quinn?
I was going to bring that up because I watched the first couple episodes, which I enjoyed very much, and I thought the humor worked really well in that.
Go forward. Bane, you will lose your mind when Bane is at the Legion of Doom or whatever it is when he's at the meeting. James Adomian plays him. Ron Funches plays the Shark. And the casting is outstanding.
You're talking about the new Suicide Squad, the new one.
No, we're talking about the Harley Quinn, the animated series.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for clarifying, sir.
I can only recommend you guys find it because I think that you will thoroughly enjoy it. I mean, there's DC stuff that is really great.
Wasn't the third season of that the one where there was the controversy over whether Batman was going to go down on Catwoman?
Yeah, probably. I'm only on season 2, which I have to say. But I think that's what happened is that Batman would never do oral sex, and you're just like, what just happened?
Well, Jackie, that's great about oral sex, but before we move on...
Wait a minute, don't shut this down. This is a good news thing.
No, but because I see where she's going here. I just wanted to get back to
going?
Black. Well, you're going away from Black Widow.
You got more Black Widow talk?
And James had a comment because James and I had a strong feeling about it, and I just wanted to say one thing about Black Widow, and that was
go back to
one of the things that I love, and people need to understand. Black Widow or Natasha Romanoff, she's part of the Avengers. All these guys have these superpowers. She's not necessarily a super being that has superpowers. She's a very capable spy, and she can fight, and she's amazing. But she doesn't
like Clint Barton. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And what's cool about this film, one of the things that I loved is number one, you see some wear and tear on her, number one.
Well,
and number two. And
she's still super powered.
Yeah, well,
I mean, there's no way anyone real lives through any of that nonsense.
And superpowered, at least mentally, she's had a tough life.
Pure force of will. Yeah.
And there's stuff. See, the funny thing is, when I went to see it, Jackie, I didn't realize that. I thought it was going to be a hearty, fun. There's some dark stuff in here, which I was not prepared for, and it really surprised me. And then there's a sequence. Yeah. There's a sequence where it was kind of tough to watch because it was a very powerful moment. And I don't want to go into too much detail, but to listeners, I want to say, if you haven't seen it, there's a lot in this film. But I think James has an opinion.
No, I thought this is going to be one of those times when you guys are just going to hate me for saying something. I did not like Black Widow, and a big part of the reason for that is that sometimes actors just rub you the wrong way. I have always had a problem with Scarlett Johansson.
In everything?
Fair enough.
In everything?
Absolutely.
No, that's not fair.
Absolutely.
Wait a minute. Wait. Hey, Larry. Yes. This man has an opinion of his own.
And you wanted him to say it, so let's hear it, man.
Look,
I don't like Owen Wilson.
No.
Okay, well, there you go.
There you go.
For me, I think Owen Wilson is. I'm relieved that he's in
like
Loki
Owen
because
Wilson.
I think he makes Loki better from my point of view.
I love him in it. Yeah.
But I've just always had an issue with Scarlett Johansson. I don't think she's interesting. I think she's a black hole where an actress should be. And when she went off that cliff in Endgame, I was like, oh, thank God.
That's sacrilegious. Are you kidding?
Larry,
you have no soul. You have no soul, sir.
Hey, James, I'm going to split the difference with you. There are times that I watch her where I don't care for her. I think it's a little blah.
What it is?
Blah.
Iron Man 2, she was great. I like her, but whatever.
Look, all it is, what people go to movies and watch TV, and sometimes you look at an actor and like, they do nothing for me. Scarlett Johansson, I don't understand why she's a movie star. They put her in the MCU, it's like, okay. And finally in Black Widow, I'm like, okay, let me give it a chance. Maybe it'll just sort of convince me that this movie's got more to it than her, that it's worth seeing. Honestly, there wasn't enough in there to make it worth recommending to me. I
Do you
didn't
like
really...
Florence Pugh? Do you want to?
No,
Because she
I
will
didn't-
be the.
I
You
didn't-
didn't like her
I
either.
didn't
Oh my
I didn't
God.
like her either. No,
Hey,
honestly.
how about like Scarlett Johansson, something like Lost in Translation or
Nope.
Jojo Rabbit?
Nope.
So who are there any
Do you
women
not
in
like
the MCU
redheads?
that you?
Is that what it is?
No,
No,
I'm
that's
just-
not what it
attractive-
is.
Do you not like
I-
attractive women that can fight and kick your ass?
I have a real question, which is who are the women characters in the MCU that you do like?
Ooh,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, James.
Captain
No,
Marvel.
No, I love.
He's gonna say like, who's
Do you
that
like Brie
woman who plays
Larson
the sexy
or the
maid?
Pepper Potts?
Yes, I like
Pepper Potts.
Jane.
Oh,
I like.
She had 12 minutes of stage time, but okay.
I like Pepper Potts actually.
Yeah,
I know, but
think she's a
I
great
like Pepper
character.
Potts too.
I like Gamora. I love Gamora.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gamora's awesome. I actually like Captain Marvel, which is contrary to a lot of fan opinion.
I love Captain Marvel.
I do too.
Unnecessary movie.
But again, it has
The only reason
Fair
Captain
enough,
Marvel
you guys.
exists, the only reason that Captain Marvel exists is so that Iron Man can be saved in space to be in the rest of the movies.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I didn't care for it.
Talk about
I
forced
loved it.
comedy.
I loved it so much.
Me too.
But that's because there's. I mean, for me, it was the first one. She was great. There's my favorite scene in that movie is when
Brie
she's
Larson.
facing Annette Bening, and she
Yes.
realized she's like, I've been fighting with my hands tied behind my back,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
that
there's
was
some
when.
good stuff in it. It's not.
No.
It's just that.
See,
No,
it's not-
right.
see,
It wasn't.
you're-
It's certainly not your favorite, Sean.
John,
I get
you're
that.
brushing it off.
That's probably actually the weakest of all of them in the MCU for
Right.
me.
Oh
But
man,
Guardians still like,
two.
okay.
Guardians 2, I
Guardians
agree with
2,
you on that one.
Yeah,
And-
Guardians
Wait,
2.
get-
I do
Talk
think
about-
that's
talk about-
Wars.
Guardians
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
2, talk about way too much shitty comedy.
Wait, getting back to Brie Larson and Captain Marvel, that whole sequence, Sean, where she has that moment of clarity when she sees herself falling off the bike, getting up, getting knocked down, falling up, getting knocked down.
it's not a bad
that
moment,
whole
yeah.
sequence, not a bad that's a great moment. If you've
Yes,
if you've
but the
been
rest of the
slapped,
movie- but the
if
rest
you've
of the
been
movie
slapped
wasn't
your
that
whole
good,
life
Larry.
and been knocked down.
The rest of the movie was not as good as that movie.
Oh, I
Right.
loved it. I just loved the whole thing. I loved where it went. I didn't know that
Fine,
these aliens
fine.
were
You
going to
have
be.
your
Right.
opinion.
I mean, everybody has their favorite ones, you know. And James doesn't like. He likes Pepper Potts, and
Pepper Potts.
Where's that movie?
Yeah.
Where's that
Yeah.
one? You know what?
Write a
Andy
letter.
had the greatest idea for a one shot. Remember I think it was Infinity War, they're all at that party and Jane Foster and Pepper Potts weren't there. Lost opportunity for a one shot with Jane Foster and Pepper Pot as a one shot afterwards where they're at a restaurant just talking about science and business.
Jackie, I'll be right over.
Not mentioning either of their boyfriends, and then we pull out Andy's idea is we pull out, and the name of the restaurant is called Bechtel's.
Going deep.
Yeah, I mean, the Easter egg, man. Might as well do it.
Yeah.
And but I do you guys want to switch over to because my favorite.
Now,
What is your favorite?
DC?
Wait.
What's your favorite
You don't want to
DC?
go to.
I know. I just wanted to say, you know what?
One more.
I'd love
You want to
come
say
over
some
your
more
house.
things about Black Widow?
Yeah,
It was so good.
Look, I said that.
It's so good. What are you crazy?
See, why do you do that? See, I'm ready to kind of move on, and then you're all, come on. I just want to say, Jackie, I want to come over to your house and have your husband explain some things as I'm watching the WandaVision. And
It was
that would be a joy.
that was amazing storytelling. That was just like that. The decision that they made, just from a structural point,
Yeah,
where they're
yeah.
just going to do
yeah.
Absolutely.
incredible,
Risky.
like
Risky.
so risky.
Yeah,
You're just
very
like,
risky.
And
Yeah.
how many people?
bottomless pile of cash. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
How many people did you see writing reviews who weighed in after the first episode and went, "This is bullshit.
But
What's going on?"
They didn't understand it. Then it's like, it's one episode. It's one. Where's it
But
going?
it's an
What-
homage to television. It's an homage to superhero, and then it has just.
And then there's a
amazing
mystery
storytelling.
hook at the end.
And those two characters got to really be fleshed out, which they really weren't in the films. You know,
Which
I mean,
is what
I really
each
liked
of those
those characters. I
shows-
really liked them together, and
Yeah.
it was really good.
That was neat that each of those shows really did that, where we got, like, I didn't know anything about Bucky Barnes. I mean, I did from the comics, but I didn't know anything from the movies.
And Bucky
I
and
was
the
psyched.
Falcon together, great chemistry. They
Oh, they're great.
Hands down.
They're really
Yeah,
good.
and everything about their chemistry is wonderful, and I like the overall plot of that
yeah. Yeah.
I thought was good, except I wasn't really all that crazy about the I'm sorry, I'm blanking on their name. The group.
The Flag Smashers?
The Flag Smashers.
Yeah, right.
I thought the Flag Smashers were like, it was a beat that kept happening over and over again with them and their machinations.
Well, it felt like, you know what, the Flag Smashers, you were like, they're good guys, they're good. I mean, they seem to make sense in the same way that Killmonger did until he killed Forrest Whitaker. And then the Flag Smashers were fine until they were like, we're going to blow shit up.
Yeah.
And then you could twist. Yeah.
I also love the new Captain America character.
Yeah.
So U.S.
great.
Agent.
Yeah, so great, man.
Well, and that's right from the comics.
Yes,
John Walker, and he's even crazier in the books.
Right. Well, hopefully,
sure.
Yeah, and Jackie, I also want to ask you about for Loki, because to me it seemed like, tell me if you think I'm wrong, but to me they're setting up for the next. I guess, is it phase 4 or phase 5?
Oh, for sure. I think it's 5.
But
and it's
so
all
it's the multiverse and the timeline. So to me, because what Loki, without giving stuff away, the Loki series deals with alternate timelines and alternate realities, really. And to me, that's genius, because they can go in so many different ways with the next set of movies, to the point where, I mean, if the next set of movies are doing well, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, Captain America and Iron Man show up in some other universe timeline for a cameo or exactly.
Yeah. That's what's great about comic books.
It's great.
Exactly.
When Killmonger, when he's sitting on that shelf and he's talking to Black T'Challa and he's like, "Hey, just throw me into the ocean like they did with the slaves that died in the ships, right? In the Middle Passage."
Right.
I was like, oh my God, Namor's going to find him and reanimate him. More Killmonger. More Killmonger.
When is Namor going to show up?
I really hope he comes in the next phase. He's got to. He's such a cool character.
He's cool, but I would say my current thing that I'm reading Aquaman, which is hard for me because Aquaman traditionally is lame, except for that the new Aquaman books were not. They were actually really good. But my favorite is a Green Lantern story, and I don't know anything about Green Lantern, so it was really weird that I'm liking this. And all this Green Lantern story is it's sort of an old school Batman story because it's a murder mystery set on a future It's the Green Lantern is an Earth Green Lantern named Sojourner, and she has been sent to a planet to deal with a murder that happened on a planet that has no emotions. They got rid of their emotions because they wanted peace. And there's an underground drug going around that can release some emotions. And also in the underground that is also being traded are Earth memes. They're the greatest, they're the most valuable thing, are Earth memes. And but it is written by one of the greatest science fiction writers of our age. Her name is N.K. Jemisin. She, weirdly enough, Matt, is Kamau Bell's cousin.
Is that right? Wow. Really? Wow.
Yeah. Wow. She won the Hugo 3 years in a row for her science fiction series called the Broken Earth Trilogy. 3 years in a row.
I'll check it out.
She just got a MacArthur Genius Grant.
That's amazing.
She's writing a Green Lantern series called Far Sector, and it is amazing. She's like this Green Lantern is hilarious. I mean, it's not hilarious. It's funny, but it's really, really interesting. It talks about power, and it talks about trying to have a utopia. It does all the things that comic books do. That's my favorite, I think, DC thing that I'm reading right now.
Hey, Jackie, really quickly, do you think we'll see another Green Lantern down the road, or do you think the studio goes, we tried it? No.
I saw, did you guys see the one where the Firefly guy, somebody cut him into it? I think they dropped the ball not having the guy who played Castle play
instead of Ryan Gosling.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I don't know who wrote it. I have not.
Casting, I don't think was the real problem with that.
Well, didn't they?
I think it was writing. You're right.
Yeah.
But I thought there was some kind of little nod or some kind of reference or Easter egg of Green Lantern in the extended Jack Snyder cut of Justice League.
Okay, which I didn't see. Did you guys see the extended?
Yeah. I liked it.
Yes.
But but I
on Sean's recommendation.
Maybe, look, the DC universe is very different from the MCU, and I don't know, it's very inconsistent and not always successful. But I did enjoy the extended cut better than the bastardized version that was released.
Did you guys ever?
Yes, I did too.
Did you ever
Sean.
read a Mark Waid series called Irredeemable and a parallel thing called Incorruptible? It's about It's a Superman character. Irredeemable is about if Superman went bad, as has been told several times.
Right.
Except for that, Mark Waid is famously a huge Superman fan.
Yeah, he's a really good writer.
He's an amazing. I will read anything Mark Waid. I got to meet him. I did a podcast where it was the J. Keith Van Stratton, Helen Hong podcast, where essentially you talk about something you love, and then they ask you a question, then they bring out an expert. And the question they asked me was about someone who ran for president, had a comic book about him with a superhero in the MCU universe. I guessed it was Dan Slott, Spider-Man, and Obama, which just feels like a Clue kind of solution. And it was Mark Waid with Stevie Cole, whatever. It was a lot. It was brutal because Mark Waid walked out to correct me. And I was like, I just fucked up in front of Mark Waid, and then Mark Waid was nice enough to be on the Dork Forest and talk about Superman. But Incorruptible and Irredeemable is an amazing story about how Superman, who could hear everything and who has essentially, whenever he's sad, he snaps. He just snaps. And he kills 3 billion people.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, and so the rest of the superheroes have to come together and get Superman, right?
Wow.
But it's the plutonium is his name. But the parallel is almost better, and it's called Incorruptible, and it's about a supervillain who sees what the plutonium has done, and he's like, well, I guess I have to be a superhero now. God damn it. And he kicks a 15-year-old out of his bed. And he goes, I guess I can't do this anymore. Get out. And then Incorruptible is that story. And it's an amazing, couple of stories.
Wow.
Well, this reminds me a little bit of, because I love anything like that, where it's, you have this established superhero and then what happened if he decided to not be the defender of the earth, Miracle Man, which did you ever read that book?
No.
Jackie? Miracle Man was, I know James is familiar with it because
Alan Moore.
Yeah, Alan Moore. And it was one of the earlier things that he did. And what they did was they took this character, they had to rename it Miracle Man because its original name was Marvel Man, and there were some rights issues with Marvel. But it's basically, they copied the Shazam family. So there's Captain Marvel, Captain Marvel Jr., Kid Marvel, and
Dog Marvel.
I mean, I think it literally was that. It was everything.
Marvel.
House Marvel and Paramecium. So
Hamster Marvel.
Right. Yeah. COVID Marvel. And so Alan Moore took this thing and presents these original dopey Miracle Man stories as false memories being pumped into the brains of these super beings that have been created by this shadowy military group. And they fused humans with alien DNA from a crashed spaceship because they can.
Right.
So there's a point where the shadowy military group is afraid that these super beings are getting too powerful to live, and they decide to lure them into a phony adventure where they're going to destroy them with an atom bomb. Miracle Man survives the atom bomb, but loses his memory, including the word that turns him into Miracle Man. And one day he remembers it and he says it and he becomes Miracle Man again. He says it like he's now in his 50s and he's kind of doughy and, he's in this relationship. That's not a bad relationship, but it's just kind of run of the mill. And all of a sudden it's like he remembers his past and finds out that he's a god. And so throughout this comic, he spends less and less time going back to his other persona. To the point where his wife is a little freaked out. She's like, I don't even know how to relate to you anymore. I feel like I'm an animal when I'm with you. It's like you're this next step in evolution or something.
Right.
Well, Miracle Man finds out that Kid Miracle Man, Johnny Bates, actually survived the nuclear bomb as well and is now an adult who runs this mega corporation. But without any kind of parental guidance, he becomes a sociopath. He's determined to kill Miracle Man. and he thinks that regular humans are just nothing, like insects. And at one point, he flips out and just devastates London, to the point where if you go back and you read the comics, there's this wonderful John Toddleben art where you see the aftermath of what Kid Miracle Man has done, and you see hands and limbs falling from the sky like rain.
Oh my
and
God.
It's just horrible. And it takes Miracle Man to come in there and deal with him, and it's this battle royale. It's just tremendous, but it's a really great book. And Alan Moore did a run of it, but then when he was done, Neil Gaiman took over.
Oh, what?
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just like, it's so good because it goes from like, if you are this superhero that has these abilities, then what's your ultimate goal? And the ultimate goal is to pretty much take over the world and reshape it the way you want it to be.
That's
what he does.
That's what Lex Luthor is right.
Yeah.
Often. You know, he's like, that guy's an alien. And you're just like, well, but his heart's in the right place, buddy.
Thank goodness.
You're wrong.
Yeah. Do you watch Invincible?
I read like the first 100 issues, and then I was like, same. It's sort of, for me, it's not for me. But and I know that these are controversial things. That Invincible, I sort of got bored. Walking Dead, I got bored.
Oh, me too.
And the boys, I couldn't do. But I was just like, I know Sean's got the shirt.
How about the show?
The show, well, I haven't tried because the thing is,
the show is so good.
Right, but it's good.
But I there's so much evil in the world right now that I kind of need. I need to watch, the Great Pottery Throwdown. I'm so sorry.
No. Jackie, I understand, but imagine, if you will, if someone has various powers and how some of these superheroes come about their powers. Everyone has like a different set of powers, and if they're a little askew or they're a little off or whatever, and sometimes people take advantage of their situation based on their fame.
2 words, Larry. Mitch McConnell. I'll be over here.
I thought you were going to say Bill Cosby, but okay. Yeah.
and also with him.
but I mean, what I will say about The Boys is that there's a lot of darkness in it, but it actually I don't want to spoil anything. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, it goes in a good direction, I guess.
There's funny stuff, and there's hopeful stuff, and there's real relationships and romance in it too.
And Jackie, for what it's worth,
a great romance.
My wife, who's really not into the superhero things, maybe because of Superman and Batman stuff, she watched this with me, and she was totally hooked. She can't wait for the next set of series.
There are things I totally want to try, and The Boys is something
That's worth it. I'm telling you.
Did you guys ever read 100 Bullets? People are given 100 bullets, and they have a
Brian Azzarello or
maybe.
I mean,
there's so many great stories. What do you guys think? I have a question back at you, because Harley Quinn for me was so great, and then I tried to watch MODOK, but I only watched the first episode. I want to watch more of it because I love Patton so much. Have you guys seen MODOK?
No.
The animated
is that an animated series?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
And What If is going to be animated too, and
I'm looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to that.
It's getting a lot of buzz.
I'm one of these people who, you saw the first Suicide Squad. I had a certain opinion about it, and then this new one is coming out with James Gunn as the director.
Yeah, I have a question about that.
It's almost like retelling the exact same story.
Is the new one, because I thought the first Suicide Squad movie sucked balls, but is this one just redoing it again?
Well,
they might try to reboot it, I think.
I think it's more of a reboot because...
Isn't that kind of crazy that we're seeing reboots now, a couple years after the first movie?
And isn't that sad that that's what DC is doing?
DC just can't get their shit together.
Well, Sean, it's almost like that first Suicide Squad, it didn't really happen.
And they tried that with Fantastic Four.
Yes, a couple times.
And they're going to do it again, aren't they?
They're going to do it again.
No, yes,
supposedly they're going to do it right now.
But MCU's going to do it. So come on, the chances are it's going to be fucking great.
I hope
so.
I love the Fantastic Four. I keep hoping.
I would like if they would do Gail Simone's Secret Six. Did you guys ever read that?
No.
That was super dark and creepy and kind of crazy good.
I vaguely remember that. I remember liking that.
Yeah, that was good, and those characters had more because they were also crazy and supervillains, but they had been turned into kind of a thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think that? Oh, do you think that Val, Veep, Seinfeld, whatever, who keeps
Julia
Louis-Dreyfus.
Yes. Do you think that she's making a Dark Avengers?
Oh man, that'd be so awesome.
It's going in that direction.
God, to be awesome.
That'd be great.
Yes, Agent and
I was so super happy to see her show up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
And
like,
Jackie,
wow.
and if I may, for those of you who decide to go see Black Widow, stay through all the credits
because it's so good.
No, just
there's a stinger. There's a stinger.
Okay.
Cut to the end.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
That's for any Marvel show. You stay.
It's always stay. Yeah.
They made that into an institution now. Yeah, those credits.
Well, I want to see the Isaiah Bradley show.
Yes. Are you kidding? Kyle
I want to do Truth, Red, White, and Black.
Yes. I used to have such an attitude before I read any Captain America. I had an attitude, and now First Avenger, of course, being one of my favorite of the MCU movies.
Yes,
it's in my top 3 or top 5.
Yeah. It's great.
It just is beautiful. It's beautiful. It's literally my heart. I love it so.
And the Isaiah,
I remember too.
The Isaiah Bradley part of that was my favorite. Like I was hoping that was going to be a bigger part of the story. Like to see some flashbacks and to, really get into his part of it. And I assume that they're saving that. They might be. Yeah.
Maybe because the casting, whoever is casting and continues to be casting, and it's this one woman's casting agency is sticking the landing on the casting.
Hey, one thing about the Captain America things too is, I remember when Iron Man came out and it was great. It was like, well, that's really cool because that suit is fantastic.
Back in 2008.
And then when I heard they're making Captain America, I was like, oh, Captain America, like if they don't get that suit right, isn't it going to be cheesy? And because they've tried Captain America before, like 70s TV movies and the old serials, and it's just kind of cheesy.
No, Sean's right.
And but it's not just, it's the casting, it's the costuming, like going past the spandex idea of like the old-fashioned superhero and putting those characters in the real world and making it believable and cool.
Because
if that didn't work,
making the cheese factor part of the period, because you had all this pro Captain America propaganda.
Yeah, when he was like in the old films in the 40s, I love that.
Perfect approach.
And I will say this. Joe Johnston, who was the director of this, this was perfect for him. He's the guy who did The Rocketeer.
Right.
Oh, it's so goody two shoes. It fits his style. It's so
The Rocketeer was beautiful as well.
I'm just saying. I thought they got the right direction. And I will say this, it's funny when you look at the whole spectrum of the Marvel universe and you think about some of the people that they've chosen to be the directors and have a voice, to have a vision for a certain character. For example, Kenneth Branagh, who is known as like Shakespearean. No, you laughed, James.
Right.
Shakespearean type character. Here you have Thor. That the Thor world, they talk a little different. They talk a little funny.
Did you see?
Branagh was
you've been watching
fantastic to
Avengers
direct
Assembled. Have you been watching the Avengers Assembled series, which is the documentaries about WandaVision, Falcon, and then Loki? Also on Disney Plus. They're each 1 hour. They're each 1 hour. The making of WandaVision, the making of Falcon Winter Soldier, and the making of Loki, which I just watched before this.
Nice.
Kenneth Branagh is in it.
Oh, that's cool.
They talk about Kenneth Branagh because Tom Hiddleston, that's how he got the gig as Loki.
Well, to get Thor to work, that was one that I was less worried about Captain America than I was about Thor.
You're right. Thor 2, you're right. Because you're right.
I was worried about Black Widow because they kept pushing it and the fact that it and I loved it just because it was a buddy movie and it was a spy movie. I liked it as much as Winter Soldier, and Winter Soldier is one of my favorites.
Cool.
Getting back to the directors,
James is like,
people that they,
all right.
the people that
that's just him, Jackie. That's just him.
The angle with Thor to make him a fish out of water was brilliant. That was
yes. I just think Kenneth Branagh was perfect. Also, the director for Black Panther, the director for Doctor Strange, the director for Thor Ragnarok.
And I love Doctor Strange.
See, Doctor Strange.
No.
Did you see it in 3D?
I'm just saying all of these directors have a particular vision. You can't look at these films and go, oh, they're all the same, because they're not.
Well, they hire people that love the material.
Yeah.
Yes,
or understand it at least.
Understand it, yes.
Can I say that I accidentally saw Black Panther? We always go first time and see it normal 2D, and then the second time we try to go see it 3D. So Black Panther, we tried to go see it 3D. We accidentally saw it in some sort of rocking smell-o-vision over on, and guess what? It was horrible. I was like, hey, I'm trying to watch a movie over here.
It's smell-o-vision?
Yeah, they did the flower, the flower that he drinks.
But did they move the seats and all that stuff?
Yeah, they moved
like
the
scents
seats
around. Yeah.
There was
I think I would have liked that.
I think we saw one of the films like that. I can't remember which one, but
polyester.
I'm trying to watch a movie.
Pink flamingos.
So, Jackie, I want to ask you though about, because you're probably more familiar with a lot of the DC superhero characters than I am from the comics. But as far as DC goes, I like some of their movies, but not a lot. And I always felt that back in the 80s, when Dark Knight was a huge graphic novel, and they decided, okay, we're going to make kind of a Dark Knight type movie with Tim Burton, right? And that movie got so much hype. And the whole idea, the whole concept of, we're going to go dark, it's going to be gritty and dark and violent, because it was like back then, all you knew was the campy 60s Batman TV series. And so and the movie was huge. I don't think it's a great movie, but even since back then, they had their mindset on dark, dark, dark. And they made several other Batman movies later, some better than others. But it seems like DC never got in step correctly with their franchise. And they, like, sometimes you have a pleasant surprise, like the first Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Then you have a ghastly surprise, like the second Wonder Woman. It's like, it's so inconsistent. There's nobody
how did they break Wonder Woman?
That's what I said too. I said, how can you? They were in such a good role. It's like, oh my God, there's hope now for this franchise.
And there were parts of Wonder Woman 84 that I enjoyed.
There's not a single minute of that movie
I had to force myself to want it because there are so few. There's nothing.
Ultimate misstep.
If you are a woman, you got nothing. You got to go with what you got. You're just like, I know Black people who were like, I'm gonna like Black Panther whether it sucks or doesn't suck, and because there's nothing for me. And thank God it was wonderful and great.
I think it's also interesting that there was this big surprise, and I understand why there was a surprise, but the idea that you could make a movie that has a predominantly Black cast and that it would be a success. Because a good movie is a good movie.
Exactly.
And good actors are good actors, and a good story is a good story.
I don't understand why capitalism in general, which I am a proponent of, huge fan, when used correctly. But the thing is that they have taken, like, homosexuality. They have taken the gay community and gone, there's so much money here. Let us not be such assholes about being gay because there's so much money here. And said that about the Black community. Said that about that other communities, people of color and women. They're just like, because they sort of are doing it with women. They're sort of like, well, Captain Marvel made a shit ton of money. Let's make another one.
Right.
And I think that they're going to do the second Captain Marvel movie is when, remember when she got Yeah, and it's going to be great, Sean.
I hope it's better than the first one.
And anyway, because it's amazing.
Is Brie Larson stepping down?
No,
you can fuck right off all of them.
I love her. I love her.
The greatest. But the thing is they're going to take that thing where she gets kidnapped. Remember that arc in the early 70s? And then Chris Claremont was like, "Remember when I got kidnapped and impregnated? And none of you people cared that I got raped. Fuck all y'all." And I think that that's going to be the story they're going to do.
Wow.
Jackie brings up a really good comment, and the one thing that I love about taking risks and hiring the right directors and whatnot. Here you have Black Panther. This was directed by Ryan Coogler, and what an amazing cast, an amazing story, but also going a step further. Look, we had Black Widow, okay, which is a female main character, but also in the future, we've got Shang-Chi, the Legend of the Ten Rings. This is like an
I'm
Asian
excited
cast.
about that.
And the funny thing is, again, it's another thing that I didn't know about, but seeing the preview, I'm just captivated.
I read those comics.
It's like what Jackie said. Well, it's about the story, whatever the story is. And what's so cool is capitalism, whatnot. Marvel is bold enough to go, you know what? We are going to tell a female story. We are going to tell an African-American story. We are going to tell an Asian story. And I love that. I really love that. And then to top it off, the thing that I'm really excited about, I know maybe Matt's not crazy about Doctor Strange. I love the whole Doctor Strange universe. Coming up down the road, we're having Doctor Strange in the multi-universe of madness, directed by Sam Raimi. And we've been told—
I'm interested in that.
They've been told this is going to be more like a horror film. Sam Raimi, my God, I'm so excited about that.
Less gags.
I own New Mutants. Yeah, that's the silence I wanted to hear. I own
the
New
movie.
Mutants. Yeah, the movie, and I loved it. It was supposed to.
It was like a bomb.
I really liked it. And
when did it come out? Like I didn't hear anything about it really. It's like
they put it out in the heart of quarantine. I saw it on the side of a building in the city of Los Angeles, and then I bought the DVD because I wanted to actually see it in the dark. Wow. And it could have been better, but I thought that they did a really nice job with it. And
I liked some of the characterizations. I thought the characters were solid. I think
all the actors are in their 30s now. It does suffer from COVID, and unfortunately, and too many fingers in the pie. But I thought that it had so much potential, and I thought that they did a pretty good job with it. And I liked it. Again, predisposed to like all of this nonsense. And
I'm with you. I absolutely am with you.
I have to go, but I have a question, because let's talk superpowers. But I want to go way out. Is anyone watching Lower Decks?
No, and this has been recommended to me so many times, and I heard it's great.
It rarely takes part in the Lower Decks. That's the only thing I wanted more of. But but I am enjoying it. It is the fact that there's the USS Cerritos that they're on is hilarious to me. And there's like a USS Pacoima or some fucking thing. It is outstandingly silly. It's not.
And what is the Lower Decks?
The Lower Decks, essentially, it's a Star Trek cartoon on CBS Direct that I could light $7 on fire a month, because I'm not watching enough of all of the things I want to watch on CBS. Right. But just because I'm literally watching more pottery throw down or whatever is just something to stop the voices.
Well, so I didn't know that Lower Decks is part of the they're superheroes. Are you kidding me? Universe. They're super, because I would also. In what sense? Like your mom and dad are superheroes?
Space,
yeah. My mom and dad are superheroes.
And I thought that this entire hour and a half that we were going to talk about was going to be about how Godzilla is a superhero. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Oh, no, we're not going there, Jackie. Don't pull that
card. Right. No, she's right.
He's often the good guy.
He totally turns into a superhero.
See, you guys, why? Okay,
Gamera especially.
Let's do the jokes, comedians. Go ahead.
Is it a joke?
No, this is dead serious. You don't think that those kaiju, that those giant monsters that use their powers for good are superheroes? Because they kind of are.
Is Ultraman a superhero?
Yeah.
Is Ultraman a superhero, Larry? Answer the question. Senator.
He's kind of a superhero.
No, he's not kind of. He's totally a superhero.
I don't know if he falls into the category.
He absolutely does. That just goes to it does fall in the category.
No, the title
it just goes to show you how little you know about
Marvel, DC, and beyond.
Beyond. That means
like
Japan.
We haven't even talked about other stuff here.
I don't care. How dare you besmirch Ultraman and not consider him a superhero? And Jackie Kashian is right. Finally.
Godzilla.
Godzilla's a superhero.
Why do you do this? Well, listeners at home are going, well, that's a kaiju. That's not really a superhero, but
no, they're not.
Well, listen to your guest.
Is that how our listeners talk?
It's a semantic, like a preconception that a superhero has to be based on a comic.
Yeah, right.
Can it be a superhero if it wasn't based on the comic?
Yes.
And that's where the line is divided. Some people would say no, and some would say yes. Well, I think we're talking about superheroes that were from the comics, right?
Well,
I was not given your proclamation before we started this, James.
It was an assumption.
I didn't know that we were going to go Marvel, even though I could talk about this stuff literally for the next 7 hours.
And
the freaking title of the show is Superheroes Volume 3, Marvel, DC, and Beyond. Yes, but I thought we concentrated on Marvel and DC.
It's like
I certainly did.
I just wanted to throw out how excited I was about this stuff that I can expect from the Marvel universe.
Me too.
Like the Venom, Let There Be Carnage, the Eternals, which I'm hoping
the Eternals is good.
I'm one of these guys
I'm on board.
I had no idea. It's like, look, if you're an Eternal and you have the power, why can't you do something when Thanos is invading?
You might as well ask why Black Bolt doesn't write down questions. Why does he have to do it all through like mind to Medusa? Why does his wife have to be the mouth of Sauron in this thing?
Thank you for bringing up the Inhumans, by the way, because that was a terrible show.
I heard that did not work. I did not see
because I love the Inhumans, and I'd love to see someone reboot that.
Wasn't that a spin-off of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., kind of?
Well, there was a whole pile of them, right? There was Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and Daredevil.
Yeah, but I thought the Inhumans themselves, some of them were in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Were they?
Right, but they separated them.
Okay.
They called them something else in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, okay.
Though we owned, I think, the first 3 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's going to make all of you stomp out. I know that.
I'm going to go half lit on this.
Again, first season or 2, I liked a lot.
I was on board just because I like Coulson so much. Maybe.
No, he's great. He is great.
But other than all the tons of movies and shows from Marvel, but what is Jackie? Do you know what is DC's plans? Because are they making another? Are they going to make more Aquaman movies and all that stuff? Because
I would not be surprised if they made another Aquaman movie, but. A Superman movie done correctly would be a dream come true.
I'm still waiting for that. Yeah. I mean, since the first original Richard Donner Superman, I haven't seen.
And I tried to watch that again, and it holds up almost. Isn't that surprising? Because
it holds up pretty well for me.
I love that.
Knowing that it was made,
Dabney Coleman is in that. Gene Hackman.
Right.
But I would say that if they could take the heart of that Christopher Reeves performance, and the cartoonish evilness of
Lex Luthor,
of Lex Luthor that was
Hackman.
In that movie, Gene Hackman. And even the gravitas of The Godfather, and retransplant that, I would love. Maybe Mark Waid writes that one.
Jackie, don't you feel like? Look, I love Christopher Reeve. Christopher Reeve is my favorite Superman, but Henry Cavill, I think he looks the part.
He's good though, but
he's not bad.
But he hasn't been serviced that well in that universe yet. I mean, he hasn't been terrible. But like I said, I'd like to.
I think it might be the writing. I don't think it's him.
Yeah,
I don't think it's Cavill.
Well, Ben Affleck. It's like, I don't want to be. I really didn't want to play Batman. It's like you were fine. You were fine as Batman. It's like, what is your prop? I mean,
I think a lot of that is the writing, though. You're right. It's like they have to be in good film. Like, like I said, I'm curious to see where they're going to go. Like, with DC.
Guys, we're forgetting TV DC. And
is actually really good, right?
Doom Patrol is one of my favorite TV shows.
Is that still going? Are they doing more seasons?
I only got to see the first one of that. What is that one on again? Which streaming service is that one on?
That one is on the DC channel. I'm trying to remember what the name of that actual channel is.
Which
called.
I only had.
DC Universe?
Yeah, that's right. I only did the trial on that, and I tried to watch as many things as possible.
Sure, I get it. But Doom Patrol.
It's hard to keep up. It's hard
I
to
know.
keep up. There's so
but
much.
again, that's a good dilemma to have.
And Jackie, I will say this, as far as, the image of Aquaman that we've had in the past, when we watch Super Friends, he's the blonde haired guy that rides the seahorse.
Yeah.
The one thing I did like about our current Aquaman is, he's a completely different kind of Jason Momoa. He's just a completely different type of Aquaman. And I like him. I like him, and I'm actually interested in seeing a second one, but I don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah,
and
I thought the first one was like passable. It was
Sean,
but it's like as soon as it's over, it's like I've forgotten about it. It's like it was surface
but
level.
it did
Sean,
well. It made a lot.
I know.
But Sean, I may not be able to remember everything, but I liked him. I liked him as that character.
I agree.
And so, but the weird thing is, here in the Marvel universe, they're making the movies about. There's a Hawkeye one. They had the Black Widow. And then you go back to DC, it's like, well, where's the Cyborg movie? Where's the Flash movie? Although
they're making a Flash movie.
Cyborg is in the Doom Patrol.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Doom Patrol, I will put that first season especially up against anything. It really captures the heart and soul and feel of the Grant Morrison series of comics.
Grant Morrison, just when you hear, I will say this, if you guys get a chance to read the current, it just ended, probably middle of 2020, but Kelly Sue DeConnick wrote an amazing Aquaman arc. And there's the new arc, I think, is being written by Kelly Thompson, and those are both great. The current Aquaman, because Aquaman hasn't been written well in decades, right?
Sure.
And so
they made him a little bit better when they concentrated a little bit more on the whole Atlantis thing.
Yeah. Like he's like Namor is a hard ass, right?
And so that's what they were trying to do. Yes. They were trying to make him, I think, more like Namor. And that's what makes me, which is absolutely good. But it just makes me want to see the Namor film.
Right. Somebody please write a Namor film.
And do it the way that he presented himself originally in the comics, which was he's come to wipe out the surface world.
Yes. Did you guys see Frozen 2? They can do water right now. That's amazing. The animation on water
beautiful.
Right now.
I'm sure Namor is
the song's not as hip as the Let It Go song, but still, I liked it.
I've been listening to the Frozen 2 soundtrack for the last year and a half on repeat.
I just read the lyrics. That's all I do.
They're very good. There's like The Next Right Thing. The Next Right Thing is an amazing song.
Isn't it? Into the Unknown. Into the
Unknown is not my favorite. Though there's an 80s ballad, rock ballad that the guy who talks to Moose does in Frozen 2 that is, I laughed until I cried when I saw that particular scene. I was just like, that's insane, because they did that thing, remember in the music videos where it would be the singer and then all of a sudden the other one would show and the other one would show and it was the same dude? And you're like, what are you doing? This is hilarious. It's called Lost in the Woods. It's really good.
If you like that, I suggest Lick It Up by Kiss Sans Makeup. It's quite moving.
Wait, I remember seeing that. That was on MTV. That was a big deal, wasn't it?
It was a big deal.
And remember, didn't Paul Stanley have a big sword and he like flings it and Gene Simmons goes, oh.
All I remember is them all walking, looking at the camera very sexily.
Yeah.
And just saying,
and there was fire.
Lick it up, lick it up.
Yes.
Nice.
This is quite empowering.
Yeah.
Talking about DC, the DC universe, I grew up reading more DC than Marvel. I don't think I even had a Marvel comic when I was a kid.
The opposite for me.
But now it's like the whole controversy about Batman going down on Catwoman. I'm looking at these news blurbs. I'm like, wait a minute. There's an R-rated Harley Quinn animated show? I didn't even know. It's like, and now it's like, oh, Michael Keaton making a cameo, like in the Flash movie. It's like, okay, I look into that. What's that all about? And suddenly I see there's a Crisis on Infinite Earths series with all these cameos by these actors who had done other DC stuff. I mean, and it's inscrutable. I was like, what is this? Is it a limited thing? Is it an internet thing? Is it streaming? I have no idea. Do I have to watch all the Arrow series to keep up with this? Do I have to watch Supergirl? I don't have the time.
The first 2 seasons of Supergirl is great, and then whatever Ally McBeal left, and I didn't like it as well, and because she played kind of the she was great, and then though I understand it does get better like the 4th or 5th season, you would think I would power through, but but I understand Arrow's great, and I understand Flash was great.
I heard that. Yeah,
I just
a lot of Flash, and I liked it, but it had a little bit of Power Rangers feel to it. In the this is not quite for me feel.
But yeah,
this is more for like a 13-year-old maybe. But I still thought it was good though. I thought it was a well done show, and I never watched Arrow.
My uncle recommended Flash to me, of all things, and it's like, really? Okay, maybe I'll check it out. I haven't yet, but it seems like there's so much content out there now.
Right, there's so much content, and I think I watched the first 2 episodes of The Flash on a Delta flight, probably 2 or 3 years ago, and it was actually really well done.
Yeah,
it was like super. It had a good comic book feel to it, and heroism, and it had that kind of a. I don't know, that kind of Leave It to Beaver kind of good vibe. That's all I want out of my.
I remember the '90s Flash TV series I enjoyed actually too.
I remember that one too, Sean.
Yeah. And speaking of superheroes, the Power Rangers.
True, absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah,
along the lines of Ultraman.
As I see Larry grimace, they're not American. How can they be superheroes?
There was no comic.
You know, the one thing I want to say is I have a lot of respect for Kevin Feige, who's in charge of the whole.
Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Feige.
I didn't know that.
And the one thing I also admire is it seems like Disney has left. It appears that they've left him alone. He's doing a great job. He knows what to do, and Disney, I think, is not being. I think they're heavily involved. It's like, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And it seems like over at Warner's with DC, it's like. It just seems like just mixed up, you know. They don't really have. They haven't really focused, and it's really a shame.
They don't have a vision, or a vision.
And it's almost like they're trying to find it, and
they've
also
been trying to find it for like a decade.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what?
More.
You know what? We'll wait a year. We'll retell Superman and Batman again. We'll get
right.
Which is essentially what's happening.
I know. You're right.
Look, and I know, like Robert Pattinson. People are like, "Oh, that's the kid. That's the kid from the Twilight." You know, guys, I will say this. You know, this could be pretty cool. You know, James. Maybe Warner's has learned from what Marvel is doing. You know, just.
But the key is not to try to be like the MCU. That's when they fuck it up.
I know, Sean. I
like,
know.
Don't try to copy them.
Yeah.
Like, just make good movies and good stories.
Because when they do, and they do that on the small screen, right? They do that via TV.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's great.
Yes.
Right.
And look, everyone has said, "Oh, there's the sequence where in this dream sequence in Batman versus Superman." Batman's cowl is ripped off, and you see his eyes, and there's black around his eyes, and when you pull off the mask, oh my gosh, the black is gone. In the Robert Pattinson Batman, it appears that whatever he does, he puts stuff around his eyes so his eyes blend in with the mask, and it's still there when he pulls it off. Maybe it's a more like realistic, maybe it's more gritty. My understanding it's supposed to be more violent or whatever. Believe it or not, I am excited about it because, look, I know James is like, oh, Twilight, poo. Look, the guy has done a bunch of other stuff. So I am excited, and I think he could be really good. So I want to give that a shot. I will go see that when it comes out.
I'll see it eventually.
Yeah, I mean, eventually there's enough. Yeah, absolutely.
There's so much stuff. Yeah.
Can I throw out a question? Of all the comic book superhero adaptations that have been made, television and movies, if you were going to put 5 in a time capsule, what would the top 5 be? The best of the best. Because I know which ones I would pick.
Well,
Let's hear it. Please start.
Go ahead.
No, let James go first. Yeah.
The 60s Batman TV series.
Okay.
The Richard Donner cut of Superman 1 and 2 together is one film, or if you don't want to let me do that, just Superman 1, the Donner cut.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Okay.
Avengers Endgame.
Okay. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and don't shake your head. What else? What's the last one?
Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Those would be my in the time capsule.
My God. What a powerful, it's so funny when you bring up that film. When the film came out, if you guys remember, it was around the 2001, the Trade Center thing and stuff like that. And there was a sequence when you actually saw the Twin Towers. They pulled it out because they thought it would be too hard. But I remember when I saw that in the film, that moment towards the end when Spider-Man is flying through building to building and he goes up and they spin around and there's the American flag there. The audience went nuts for that. And I remember being so proud and so excited at that moment. And I remember thinking to myself, God, Sam Raimi just did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, it was kind of like a precursor to the MCU. Like
yes.
Oh wow, they can really do it. You get a director who cares about the material, understands the material.
And the first X-Men, the first X-Men movie too. Up there with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So, thank God.
Jackie?
If you could pick 5.
Wow.
In a time capsule.
Yeah,
And the list. This could be like, because this really needs some study. But just off the top of your head, what would you?
Off the top of my head, I have to go with sort of my favorite 5 MCU movies. Right?
Okay,
I was going to say
at this point, just because even though I love that Spider-Man, you're right, that's a beautiful Spider-Man. But Into the Spider-Verse, really,
that's the best. Hands down, the best Spider-Man movie.
And look, for listeners who haven't seen this is a film that
what
totally
are you doing not seeing this?
No, Jackie, there's a lot of stuff out there. You got to cut them slack. But it's it's one of those films that, it's animated. I don't know. It totally took me by surprise. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. And so what are the other ones?
It's First Avenger.
First Avenger. Okay, good.
Yeah,
that was great.
And so I don't know, that first X-Men movie I think would have to go.
That was a great
just
one.
because it really really spoke to me. And then
it's tough.
It's tough.
I'm kind of screwed. And Captain Marvel. I fucking loved Captain Marvel.
Fair enough.
I've watched it 100 times. I've watched Captain Marvel. Yeah. It literally, I was just like, and Monica Rambeau, and it's just like all this, and then I don't know, Firefly. I can't.
Okay, all right. Hey, Sean.
Okay, I think I'll stick with the MCU too. I'd say the first Avengers movie.
Yeah. Oh God, yes.
Which is a perfect movie to me.
It's a perfect.
I agree.
You're talking about the first Avengers film from 2012, right?
Joss Whedon.
I'd say the first Iron Man.
Yeah.
I'd say
I did love 3 though.
I'd say it's a toss-up between.
Yeah, I love 3 too.
Yeah, I'd say it's a toss-up between Captain America: The First Avenger or Captain America: Winter Soldier because I love both of those.
Yeah.
And Black Panther.
Yeah.
And and maybe Endgame too. I mean, I don't know. I had to make a list of my top 10 because
sure, right.
Because I would throw in the first. Hard. Yeah, because I would throw in the 70s Superman and the first Spider-Man Sam Raimi film too. I mean, and X-Men. Yeah. So yeah.
And the Vulture as a supervillain, they fixed the frickin' Vulture. Are you kidding me?
To actually make him cool.
I do miss the old man with the bald head.
Classic Loki, the guy who played the love interest on
Richard E. Grant
story. Yeah, it's
classic Loki. So good.
Anyway,
love it.
Larry,
I like James, I would say probably one of the first ones that it has to be the 79 Superman, the Richard Donner. But I just go with the first film. Okay, that's definitely one. Right. Captain America, Joe Johnson version, love it. Black Panther, and
I live in regret.
Endgame would be one of them. And then I'm torn. It's so hard. It's so hard. I really enjoyed Thor Ragnarok, and then there's Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's like I go back and forth because the reason why is I knew Thor, but I didn't know Guardians of the Galaxy. Right. So to me, it was such a huge surprise to me. So I love what they did with Thor. I love the bridge. I love everything about it.
Yeah, Asgard and all that is so cool.
Yeah, but
I really like Dark World, by the way. I like the second Thor movie.
I agree. I totally agree with you.
A lot of people don't like to understand why.
I don't get it.
In some ways, it's the strongest of the 3 Thor movies.
I am with you.
Maybe because it's a downer, or maybe I don't want to say downer, but it's like if you think about it,
if you don't like a downer, Endgame and Infinity Stone.
yeah, exactly.
Well, let's just say if you imagine the beautiful world of Asgard is essentially destroyed, and it's like, so we're people on a ship, and where we go, eventually we're going to get attacked. So
I went to Iceland I went to Iceland like 3 years ago, and we found this church that looked exactly like that. It was so pretty. It was very small. It was much smaller in real life, you guys.
Well, Matt, what are your top 5 then?
Okay, so let's just do MCU, and I would do.
No.
Shut up! I'm doing my thing. I'm doing my thing.
5 DC, 5 Marvel. I'm not going to do that.
I'm not going to do that either. Okay, so here we go. The first MCU Avengers.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here's one no one brought up, which I think is a great movie, The Incredible Hulk. Edward Norton.
Oh,
an amazing performance.
Yes.
An amazing performance.
Yes.
And I miss Savage Hulk. I every time when he starts getting smarter, no good. I like it.
That was so annoying.
Wrong.
No.
When Hulk is
the whole sequence in the breakfast place. Hey, I'm wearing shirts now.
Nope.
Hulk.
Gross.
I don't care what you love. I don't care what you love.
You don't care.
I like the, except for me, but I like the Hulk to be a monster.
Savage
I like
Hulk.
that, and the way the Hulk is portrayed in the Avengers is about as perfect as you can get.
The first Avengers movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and
then
Ruffalo's great, no matter what. So.
But Norton is great too.
Ed Norton is better.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ed Norton.
It's different. It's different.
Don't say no.
No,
I'm telling you what I prefer.
I'm just saying it's different.
Why are you
These are his feelings.
Why are you the superhero Nazi all of a sudden?
You're the superhero of batting down people's opinions.
You are the Red Skull of this episode.
Yeah, let people have their opinions.
You have, even though it's wrong. Thank you, Sean.
Ed Norton,
you have your look. We pissed
I'm
Jackie
not done
off
yet.
now.
You know what? I understand why she left.
Okay.
He's had enough of you. He's had enough of you.
But it's like,
you're like a super villain in this episode, man.
Yeah.
You have your opinion.
Your super villain name would be Loudmouth. Now,
what's the thing that Black Widow says to Hulk to calm him down? The sun's going down now.
Right. There you go.
Going down.
Big
Sun's
guy.
going down. Okay.
She says, "Big guy."
Okay.
Hey, sun's going down, big guy.
Okay, big guy. Just calm down.
Ed Norton, genius. Okay.
Are you going to tell me to calm down, big guy?
Yes, please calm down, big guy. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
when we're done with this, I will tell you my one problem with that movie, but go ahead.
Okay. The first one.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah.
Okay. First Avenger.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Captain America. Yeah.
And I would say
Black Panther.
Black Panther.
Yeah.
Black Panther, Avengers, and Ant-Man have to also be added to my top 5. What just happened?
Which is fine. And so non-MCU, I'm just going to throw in one that we haven't talked about. Batman: Mask of the Phantasm.
Oh yeah.
It was such a good movie.
I'm not familiar with that.
This
is a movie.
This is released in the theaters, feature-length
animated
Batman movie that was based on the animated series.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah,
would I like it, Sean?
Yes, you would.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I know you would love it.
Yeah, you would.
Okay, I have a continuity problem in the original Guardians of the Galaxy that will pull me out of that movie sometimes.
Okay.
And I've seen it dozens of times. I love the movies.
Okay.
But because it's hilarious, and it's an action, and it's the Nova Corps. It's a beautiful movie. The first Guardians of the Galaxy. But I will say, Drax, who has been established as a literalist.
Yes.
Says to Gamora, "Get this whore out of my way." And there has been no time when she has been established that she is a prostitute.
It's a good point.
And so it literally will pull. I was just like, why did it? What do you? And it was played for laughs.
Nobody ever told. I guess nobody told him.
Yeah, nobody called him on it.
Now,
nobody called him on it. But and that's my only problem. And it isn't a big deal. Worse things have happened in my life.
I laughed at that moment.
Unless he was referring to her as a whore for somehow betraying Thanos, which
that's true.
Yeah,
wow,
I think he's. I think.
But okay.
Well, no. I think he is genuinely really angry at her, and so that is a pejorative.
It's like a name calling. Yeah.
Which I think is.
But
I think
already
that
established that he just kills people. He doesn't do dialogue pejoratives. He just kills people. He's Drax.
Right,
Yes.
but I think, but he seemed to have a lot of emotion behind this.
And the only thing I would say also because in the second movie, because when Gamora comes into that movie, comes into that prison, she is Rorschach.
Yes.
There is absolutely no way they should not have been terrified of her.
That's another movie.
Yes.
True.
Watchmen.
Watchmen.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh.
Right, but they treat her as if she is some sort of victim when she comes into that. When I wish she would have just said, "I'm not in here with you people. You people are in here with me."
Right.
Because she is Gamora.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
I just really quickly on one of the things about Guardian of the Galaxy 2 that I love so much is when the film opens, there's like this that kind of explains what's happening, and then the credits sequence starts with this musical opening. And it's one of the greatest musical openings I've ever seen.
Great. It's hilarious. It's beautiful.
I was beaming with joy with the music that was chosen.
The music is always great. They kind of went overboard with the
second one.
Little Groot.
They went overboard with everything.
With everything in that one. I did love the overall story of Ego.
I agree.
Kurt Russell.
That was great.
Was fantastic.
It's like the movie though in general was too indulgent. They caught lightning in a bottle with that first one, and they just kind of. But it's not. The second one's not a terrible movie.
It's not terrible.
Just that the first one's so great and so perfect. You like it was going to be a letdown.
I think partially, Sean, because it was such a surprise to me.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
And then
if you were to rank the movies in as all 25, you'd be like, oh, I was still willing to watch all 25 of them.
Yeah.
And it's funny, Jackie, you mentioned something about the 25. Some people have asked, so the films that have come out, is that how we should watch them? And it's like, no. There is actually a sequence. If you wanted to, if
we've
you
been
have never
in COVID, we've been watching them in linear
on the Disney Channel. They had them in a row. So
in a timeline,
which is awesome, including the TV series. And it's really cool.
I love that idea.
Hey, is the Hulk movie, The Incredible Hulk?
Yes.
Is that part of it?
It is.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
But not the Hulk movie. Not the one before that.
No. That one's
the
that
Ed
one's
Norton one.
But you know what I'm waiting for? It's the one inconsistency that it's just kind of in a way a little bit frustrating is that you go from Norton to Ruffalo.
Yes.
I want them in some future multiverse movie to explain that somehow.
Maybe a what if?
Yeah.
Bring Norton back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that'd be so cool. Maybe that Norton Hulk was a slightly askew timeline that Loki caused or something.
Yeah.
I want to see a Hulk.
Nobody notices it.
I want to see a Hulk Fight Club crossover.
Yeah.
In the original timeline, The Incredible Hulk is actually the 5th film that you should watch. It was made in 2008.
Yeah.
It was
That's what we
Captain
did.
America would be first. Captain Marvel, Iron Man 2. Incredible Hulk, Thor, Avengers 2012, Iron Man 3, Thor Dark World, Captain America. But like what Sean said, the timeline has existed. And
we got the first Spider-Man.
What a joy. However, sidebar, don't watch the Star Wars universe that way. Just do episode 4, 5, and 6. Forget about 1, 2, and 3. But there we go.
Agreed.
Well, you also have the inconsistency of Terrence Howard being cast as Rhodes in the first Iron Man, and then he's not.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Go back and fix that too.
You're right.
He's the Iron Man Darren.
Yeah.
Darren Stevens.
Do you know that in the What If series that's coming up, it's the last appearance of Chadwick Boseman as the Black Panther?
Really? Oh man.
Wow.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm looking forward to this Wakanda Forever.
Me too.
I'm just a huge fan. It's a beautiful universe. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
But Jackie, this has been so much fun.
Yes, it is.
Jackie, you're really hardcore, man, when it comes to the comics. Superheroes. Your stuff, man.
I want to come over to your house to watch some of these series with you and your husband.
You should watch the entire MCU on one night.
We should do that. Let's do that. When are we going to do that, Jackie? When are we going to do that?
Okay, let's rent out a theater. We'll go to the old fake theater and just stay up.
Doing it. Lots of Red Bull.
So, Jackie,
Kaz would love that.
Is there anything you're working on where listeners can check you out? What's going on?
Last week, I'm back on the road. I've been back on the road for 8 weeks. I was working on a new album. Last week, I recorded that album, and I filmed a new special.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. And this week, I am editing that album, or picking the best tracks from the 5 nights we filmed and recorded. And it hopefully will come out in September. It will be called Staycation. And and I'm just I'm working the road. If you go to, it's at JackieCation on all the platforms, and it's JackieCation.com. And I have 2 podcasts. I have the Dork Forest, where I interview people about things that they love. Many of you have been on. Have you?
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh, pure joy.
You are a wonderful host,
and
I was a fantastic guest.
And then my other podcast is I'm on a podcast where I bitch and celebrate about stand-up comedy with Laurie Kilmartin, and that's called the Jackie and Laurie Show. And so,
please say hello to her for me. I love her.
She's great. She loves you too, and she would love the other 3 of you if she knew you. But there would be, there would no doubt be open mocking, even though she is huge into manga now and anime.
Really?
Oh, we got to talk.
Her son is totally into anime, and she has watched more anime. She will watch the dark stuff, like the Attack on Titan.
Oh, you call that dark?
I won't even I watch Miyazaki, and then I'll read manga. I will not, because it gets too dark, too scary for Jackie.
Look up Junji Ito. It'll fuck up your life forever.
I don't want to. I don't want my life fucked up forever.
I think you do, though.
No, Jackie, you want your life to be saved by superheroes.
Yes.
And I just want to raise my glass and toast to you. And thank you. I love talking about superheroes.
Our superhero.
That looks like the cup of a carpenter. Nice work, Larry.
I've been drinking my wine.
Yes.
So anyway, I'd like to lift my glass. Let's toast Jackie Cation and to Superheroes Volume 3, Marvel, DC, and beyond. Cheers.
Up and away.
Time for listener shout out.
Shout out.
Guys, we did a really fun episode a few weeks ago with special guest Steve Railsback.
Oh,
fantastic.
Wonderful.
So good.
And so many of our listeners chimed in. I want to share some of these.
How could you not?
Longtime listener Rockford J.
Hey.
All right.
Dwayne Barry's going to be on your podcast.
Fantastic.
Okay. Nobody's going to boss Dwayne Barry around. Not even Larry. They drilled holes in his damn teeth. Of course, speaking of the X-Files episodes with Steve Railsback as Dwayne Barry, Teresa Morrison said, best Manson portrayed ever, which I think we'd all have to agree.
Agreed.
Longtime listener Clint Osborne from Rapid City, South Dakota.
All right, Clint.
Says, he had such great stories. This is one of the many episodes where I just want to transcribe the whole damn thing and put it in a book. Maybe call it
Go for it.
Terrorific Tales from the Monster Party Tomb. Mark Rem chimed in.
Hey,
Mark.
Great guest with a fascinating career.
Mm-hmm.
John Wilton said, I love this episode. I've been a fan of Railsback for years, so it was a great pleasure to hear him talk about the many films he's made. Great job, guys. Thank you, John.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice.
Jim Jenkins from San Diego.
All right,
Jim.
Great episode. Reminded me of all the movies he has done besides Life Force. I went immediately to Reanimated Records, what I guess is his local record store.
Nice.
And found Ed Gein and Turkey Shoot.
Nice.
And Jim,
Feature.
That's a good double feature.
Yeah.
Jim, if you found Ed Gein, you're lucky.
Yeah, it's hard to get.
Yeah, it's hard to find. Yeah.
And I got to say, Turkey Shoot, out of all the films he had made that I was not familiar with, I really enjoyed Turkey Shoot.
Yeah.
It's
Talk about
Sean turned me on to that.
Yeah. I saw it in the theater when it came out.
No way.
Yeah.
Gonzo Ozploitation, just when you think it couldn't get any weirder, the Wolfman shows up.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. There's a
It's
circus freak in it. Yeah, it's like what?
Yeah, it's like-
it's fantastic.
It's everything you want.
Yeah.
You're like, you know what'd be great right now is a Wolfman, and there he is.
Yeah. They should make a Netflix series called Turkey Shoot.
James, really quickly, I want to let you know, this for our listeners, this was such a big coup to get Steve Rails back, and I just wanted to thank Steve and his lovely wife Marcia. I was so concerned that he had a good time and whatnot, and that we were cool. And after the whole interview and stuff, the next day I sent a thing back to them saying, "Hey, thank you so much. I hope you're happy with the interview." And they sent me back a text, and she said they both said happy. More like ecstatic. One of the best interviews I've ever given.
Oh my God.
And one of the best times I've ever had. You guys were great. Very much appreciated. Marcy.
Nice.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Man.
And it
I
was,
got chills.
I want to pat ourselves on the back, but again, it was a thrill for us to get
It's an honor, really.
Yeah.
It really
I mean,
was.
it's like, it was surreal to me.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
It really was. It still is.
And
Yeah.
look, as Sean, this was like a recent one. If you haven't caught it, check it out because he has some amazing stories.
And a few more listeners. Jay Gunn from the UK, when you heard Railsback was going to be on, he said, "Cut to the chase and make this a Life Force special episode."
You should do that.
Eric Quakenbush said, "Great conversation. I've always enjoyed Steve's performances, but this is the first time I've heard him talk about his films."
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric. Victor Velasquez from Chicago
Victor.
said, "Such a strong episode. Great journey through the career of an always interesting actor. Love the way the Monster Party hosts interview guests. Never a dull moment." Thank you, Victor.
Great. Thank you.
Appreciate that. And of course, Adam G. Holtz chimed in.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Wait, okay, what did I do wrong? Come on.
No emus.
Adam said, "I've been trying to find this Piggies movie to no avail." And,
That's right. There was some weird
The pig
movie
film.
that Steve was trying to think of, and he could, and I don't know.
could not think of
Dude, this
it.
is-
We'll find it eventually.
We'll figure it out.
It's
I
my
thought
mission.
maybe there was some tie-in to Helter Skelter because of the Beatles' Piggy song. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And also want to give a big congratulations to past guests and friend of the show, Derek Robertson.
Yeah.
The Boys has been second season has been nominated for an Emmy for outstanding drama series.
Oh,
Derek,
so
Joe
good.
Derek.
congratulations.
My
Congratulations,
lovely
sir.
brother-in-law.
That's right.
Congratulations.
Couldn't be more proud.
And let's remind our listeners, the Monster Party swag is still available on our eBay store. The Monster Party logo t-shirt that glows in the dark and the Monster Party PPE mask, which is still an important protective device to have because there are still COVID variants out there.
Yeah, you need it now more than ever.
That's right.
Yes. And if you are a Patreon member, you will receive with your eBay purchase free swag, courtesy of Jason Lindsay and Biff Bang Pow Toys.
That's right.
And friend of the show, Ted Haynes, monster creator extraordinaire, who's also provided special goodies that will be included, and shipping is free.
Oh, my me.
That's super incredible.
That's a super great deal.
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Patreon.
Oh, what is this
And
Patreon thing?
What is this Patreon, Matt?
Well, Patreon is a platform that if you sign up for it, you will get extras. You will get bonus audio. You will get bonus video. You'll get book downloads. You'll get special shows like Larry's wonderful show, Larry's Toy Time, where you get to see his collectibles, his special toys. And I'm a big fan of it, Larry.
It's a winner.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's great.
And you would be wondering, I suppose, how much this costs. Well, I'm going to tell you. It's $5 a month. $5 a month.
Nothing.
You can't get like a little pebble of kryptonite for that price.
Yeah. Just a grain. You'll make Superman feel queasy at most. But $5 gets you in, and all you got to do is you go to patreon.com, go to Monster Party, click join, follow the instructions, and all of this bounty will be yours.
Such a deal. Such a deal. And hey, let's remind our listeners that you can find us on Facebook and YouTube at Monster Party TV, our Twitter handle at Monster Party HQ. Instagram is also Monster Party HQ. And hey, please take a moment and write a review on the platform you're listening to us on, because we will read it on the air and we would love to hear your thoughts.
And when we read your good review, that activates something within us and turns us into superheroes.
Yes.
This is my way of saying, please write a good review.
We turn to ego superheroes.
Ego, the living podcast.
Super ego.
On that note, I am Matt Weinhold.
I'm Shawn Sheridan.
I'm Larry STROTHE.
And I'm James GONIS.
Keep America strong!
Watch anything with superheroes.
Even Captain Marvel.
And Godzilla.
No.
Yes, Godzilla is definitely a super.
No, it doesn't fit in this category.
I'm leaving.
No, leave. Oh, we're recording.
Yeah, that's right.
That looks like
that's the NSA.
That is a great
It has
shirt.
begun. It has begun.
So, as you know, sometimes we put some of this, whatever banter we have here, we throw it at the end a little.
Oh, she knows.
She's
not
wrong.
an idiot.
Oh, ooh.
She knows how to roll. You know,
Black
now,
Widow.
so now, what line would this be? Because it has a cartoony look. So I'm assuming it's based on an animated series. The Avengers.
It isn't. They're Disney store.
No.
They're Disney store.
Oh.
It's like a not necessarily a caricature, but if you were to put a character in comic form, I think it's geared towards a younger audience, wouldn't you say?
That would be us.
Yes, exactly. Young at heart.
And that's a beautiful, what Jackie is showing here is a wonderful Black Widow figure.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then,
I seem to have broken one of the staffs that she was carrying. No.
Because she's badass.
She is badass. She had work
so
to do.
badass.
She had work to do.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Florence,
look at those
Florence
thighs
Pugh.
on her too.
Oh yeah, and thigh gap. By the way, a lot of the shots in the movie, I was like, okay, all right, thanks for that.
Well,
visual.
she could crush you. She could crush you with those thighs.
The only good line in a movie. What was that movie? It was a remake. Tom Hanks. It was
The Man with One Red Shoe.
No, it was.
Wow, that's going deep.
That is deep into the long boxes, my friend.
Here's what I do.
Oh, did you mod that?
No, that's from the Disney store.
Is that real hair?
Outstanding. That's outstanding.
That's nice. For listeners. Well, Matt is showing us this beautiful Black Widow figure.
And just by the way,
it looks like the jacket looks like it kind of comes off, and he's like kind of not exposing it, but it's
kind of a peekaboo thing. I don't think I'm being sexist here by saying I don't think that zipper is there on accident
or by accident.
Or by accident. Thank you very much.
What kind of
what a great figure, though, right?
That's an amazing figure.
And look at the face.
That's a lot better face. That's a lot better likeness. It's a better likeness.
It's a different style. That's all.
It's a different style. Yeah. Look, in fairness, Jackie, I mean, yours again is targeted to, like, I don't want to say preschool, but the younger audience. And
see, like he's already started.
Who do you think this was, Joe? Who do you think this was?
Okay, now she's holding up a Fred Flintstone-esque dump truck.
It took me a second to figure out what that was, but I get it now.
Second? Come on.
Look
Come
at
on.
that face. Look at that haircut.
Yes.
Look at that. Look
Now
at
I
that,
got it.
Look
Oh,
at the
yeah.
dump.
I'm
Yeah.
slow.
It is a
And then-
dump truck that has a look of like Fred's colors and outfit. And this says, this is a Winnie the Pooh one. It's a Winnie the Pooh cement truck. And what's really cute is the face of the truck is kind of Winnie the Pooh-esque. And the back of the big cement thing is like the jar of honey.
And look, there's honey coming out of it. Huh? There's nothing wrong with any of that.
I don't know. It's a little strange.
It's
different. It's weird because these are these Matchbox cars, whereas
the character cars,
right, and they're not characters driving the cars. It's if the characters were cars.
Exactly.
And so the fact that there's honey coming out of the back, I don't know.
But
hey, I'm not going to judge,
This, by the way, is the best thing that came out of the Wonder Woman 84.
That's a beautiful. She's holding up a Matchbox golden car, a very Wonder Woman-esque when she has that gold armor on.
Yeah.
That's the best part of the movie.
That is sadly the best part.
Well,
of the movie.
hey, let's save that. Let's save
it. What?
Oh, here's my dog.
Oh,
you can do this.
You got the grown-up action figure.
I do have the grown-up action figure.
Doctor Strange?
Yes, that's Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
No.
It's Doctor Strange.
No, it's Ant-Man. Come on, James. It's busting your chops.
Got an 1.5-inch iPhone screen.
Oh, that's true.
You're doing fair enough.
And my eyes aren't all that as it is. So
that's a good point.
And the heat where you are is quite
okay. We're not going to go into this again here, where it happens to be hot in Palm Springs.
Okay.
Every episode, Jackie, he has to do this thing. He's like a 98-year-old man going, "Hey, so how hot is it over there, huh?"
I'm concerned. I'm concerned, my friend.
James, can I ask you something?
Shut up, Grandpa.
In that vein, James, I'd like to know, how's your car running? Is it okay? Is it running? Is it going good? Yeah.
Hey, James, I got this pain.
The car is running well. I found.
Oh my God, he's going to answer.
The air conditioning takes up a lot of gas, and you always have to have the AC on. So a lot of gas.
And what about these gas prices?
Crazy. But it's more reason for us to look into alternative vehicles and energy efficient
Thank you, Captain
vehicles.
Planet.
Hey, I'm trying to roll with the times here. I'm trying to be, hip and happening. We're
that will
going
never
electric.
happen.
No, you can call me Mr. Electric. I'm Mr. Electric.
I will not call you that. I refuse to call you that.
I would like to see some proof that anyone has ever called you Mr. Electric.
No, and they never will. I will go to court to stop it from happening.
In high school.
And by the way, Shawn Sheridan has joined us, and he's he's the cool one. He's silent, and he just gave us the Spock greeting. So, and he's wearing a boy's T-shirt. Look at that. Oh, he's ready to go.
So I just want to say before we get started, for listeners, we used to have this camaraderie where anytime we interviewed a guest, we all wore our Monster Party T-shirts, and now I see my fellow Monster Partiers. Okay. Maybe just two of my Monster Partier pals have decided just screw that.
They're the rebels, Larry.
Yeah, they are.
They're the punks.
We respect the topic, Larry.
Yeah, you got to be able to.
Yes, I respect the topic.
No, you're not wearing a superhero shirt. You hate superheroes, obviously.
Oh, okay. Is that the theme? Is that what we're supposed to do?
Yes, Larry hates superheroes.
Matt, I'll be right back then.
No, you're not going anywhere.
I'm gonna go put some
anywhere. We gotta knock something out. Oh, wait a minute. There's a clip. There's a clip, ladies and gentlemen.
So he just flashed us.
White.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Almost translucent.
Yes. You could actually shoot a John Oliver episode using him as a backdrop. Now,
and here's you want to just...
What do you got? Oh, now he's wearing a Superman. Oh, great. I guess I'm the only one. Someone's got to be in charge.
So Larry.
There's Shawn Sheridan.
Hey,
what
Larry,
do you think of that? Yes.
Larry, so you hate Marvel? What's the deal? You're only wearing DC?
Yeah, why do you hate Marvel? Okay, Jackie. I swear this will start soon.
All right.
I'm not going to delay the show any further.
I think you just did.
Thank you.
No. Because it was the quickest thing I could find, sir.
Okay. That was pretty fast, actually.
Yeah, that's impressive.
You went into a phone booth and Switch.
I did.
Nice.
And you know what, Sean? You know what I could have done is I could have ripped open the box and put on my Superman costume, and then I would have had this masculine.
That would have been too distracting.
Mascular?
What did I say?
Mascular.
Masculine.
Oh, masculine. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
And my chest would be all pumped, and I'd look like one of the guys from 300.
Well, I wear a Supergirl costume because I have the breast for it. So I blame COVID.
Well, now, we've all put on a little COVID weight over
it's all right. They're firm.
But you know what? Things are getting back.
They are. Are they? Have you turned on the TV?
Well, look.
Yeah.
There are some a lot of us have gone out and we've got our vaccinations.
That's true, yes.
And we've been wearing our masks and stuff. And some people have been wearing their Monster Party masks,
Oh, that's interesting. I gave away masks at the show. Did I bring any? Do I have?
Hey, do you have one? Let's see one.
Where the hell is it? It just says because you got to cover your joke hole. It says joke hole.
Wait, yours says joke.
I like that.
Yours says joke hole. Ours says Monster Party.
Because that's the name of this podcast. But I tell jokes, so I just
thought it'd
do
be
a joke.
Good to do a funny one.
Yeah.
Considering the comedic nature of her profession.
Right, of the gig.
Sense.
I thought, let's cover the joke hole.
Do I need to explain what stand-up is? And
I would know what a joke hole is.
Do you?
I mean, a joke.
I mean, you can figure it out from the word. Did you just do some? Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, he just got on Google.
Okay.
I love your artifacts, but hey, maybe we should start this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay.
Hey, I just want to say for the record, Jackie, we are thrilled to have you.
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
well, that's always.
I'm happy to be back. I missed your faces. We should have just done like some social zooming. I did a little social zooming.
I know.
Over the last 18 months, I've also
social zoom. What's that?
Yeah.
You mean like this?
Turns like this, but
with
also
people and friends and
with friends, and then I'm cooking, and then I'm also just hanging out.
Well, I
did a lot of Zoom shows too. So
cool.
Well, you've been vaccinated, correct?
Oh, completely. And those of you who don't, I had a friend of mine who wasn't, and I was like, hey, I've been to parties with you where someone has handed you a pill that you've taken and then said, what was that? So don't give me any bullshit about, I don't know what's in it.
Yeah.
You gotta, I mean, it's, if this were polio times, I mean, I don't understand.
It's baffling. It's
just get the vaccine.
Yeah.
Please get the vaccine.
Yeah.
Because the Earth, I promise, if you think that you're looking for the end times, I promise you this Earth will continue to try to kill us. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So
there'll be another one.
Yes. Listeners, if you've been hesitant out there, listen to Jackie Cation.
You know what's weird? I can't imagine any of your listeners, unless there's some sort of medical problem, that they wouldn't have gotten it. I wouldn't, because your listeners, I think, it's not like they don't know about radiation poisoning. They know about these things. They know about monsters and the apocalypse. They know about all this stuff.
Yes. Yes.
And for the record, I'd just like to be invited to a party where someone just puts a random pill into my mouth, because that's never happened. I haven't lived. So
wait, you want to go to that party?
Yes.
Well, it's Bill Cosby's out, James. So
coming too soon, Jackie. Come on. Hey now.
All right, let's go. Let's get started.
Okay, cool. Whoa.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Hold on
Sean
now.
wants to go. So we all know what the topic is.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
And so you want to run her through the thing and then we'll start.
Yes. So Jackie, you know how we play this game. Matt's going to introduce the show with his creepy voice. We introduce ourselves, say what the topic is, then say who our guest is, and then we're going to go to town. And I take it, Matt, you're going to give Jackie a really rootin'.
Go fuck yourself.
You're going to give her a great introduction because we love her.
Suck my infinity stone.
Goes without saying.
And by the way, Jackie.
Yes.
Jackie, I still have and wear that wonderful shirt you gave me with all the little.
I still have mine too.
Forest. But see, I wear mine. I wear
it too.
I'm surprised.
Why do you assume that we don't, Larry?
Yeah. Why aren't all four of you wearing them? Wait, what just happened?
Oh shit! What? Because I don't want to delay Sean anymore because his time is very precious. So
right.
There we go. All right.
So everyone's gone to the restroom. We're all ready to go.
We we're ready to go here.
Okay. And do you have the title? Just want to make sure.
Yes, it's Superheroes, Marvel, DC, and Beyond.
I thought it was. We're not saying
Volume
Volume
3.
Yeah. See, this is why we discuss
Volume 3,
it.
Marvel.
No, I know what I'm going to say. All you got to just do is sit there and look pretty.
No, because I sometimes repeat what you say.
Well, why don't you listen to then what I say?
Because if you say something different, then I have to write it down. I'm not going to be able to go.
Oh my God, Mr. Improv. Okay, here we go.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what? The Emmy nominations, for what it's worth, just came out, and WandaVision's got almost as many as the top nominees.
Really?
And the boys,
amazing.
the boys,
and the
really?
boys.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, I can't wait for that series.
Me too.
I'm like.
I can't wait I was surprised to see that they're doing, WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, one season, but Loki is doing a second season.
Oh God.
So it's like, which they had to, because the only one that ended, I'm like, wait a minute, that's it? Wait a minute, we gotta,
I think they knew which shows have legs.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Matt.
I love, you get a chance to talk about, I forget the actress's name.
Loki is so popular.
Well, Sylvie, the female Loki is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She really, it's like just someone who just can convey a female Loki. Like she's great.
She's incredible. And the chemistry between them,
really
her and Hiddleston
that show, some of the best parts of that series are just the conversations. Like they get deep into like they did get into look at what the fuck do you want? Like what are you here for? Like him and Owen Wilson just having it's great. It's like all the action sequences you know are going to be great, but it's those character moments. Are really
the idea that you are hiding out in apocalypses.
Yeah, fantastic.
What a great concept.
No, but what I was going to say, did you guys see the whole series?
Yes.
See,
I didn't see the end, but that's okay.
Okay,
Go ahead.
it's the guy at the end. To me, was way over the top. The guy when they go through the thing and they meet the guy who's behind it all. He's the guy. He's the guy from Lovecraft Country who's so subdued in that show. And I think this one, he's like, okay, I'm just gonna go nuts. He was just too much. He's like, he was so goofy and smug and like, pull back, dude. But that bothered me. But other than that,
I didn't mind it.
But now, wait a minute. So getting back to Falcon getting the bank loan. Now.
Didn't bother me.
I actually appreciated it.
Are you serious? Are you serious? We're going to argue about this.
I understand the point that they were trying to make. And I agree with it, obviously. But still, my logic brain says you're an Avenger. First of all, why do you need a loan? You just gave away the Captain America shield, which has got to be worth, I don't know how much.
No, the reason I loved it, what it comes down to is this, because even though you're a hero, quote unquote, what is exactly, when it comes down to it, where are you getting your income? And when you look at the balance sheet, what does it look like? And that raises an interesting question to me. It's what are your sources of income and how much revenue do you actually make? And maybe a lot of these guys don't make that much.
When was the last time you went to the bank to deal with this kind of shit? It's
and also I think
we don't go to the bank too many times. We do it online. There's a thing called the internet.
The world
and look by Falcon the Winter Soldier at that period, Tony Stark is gone. So like I'm sure if he was around still, he could have borrowed some money from Stark, but
wouldn't you
Pepper
think
Potts is still around? What the fuck is she doing?
But look, what about like personal appearances? Why can't Falcon go to like the Hollywood Collector show?
That's
there for an afternoon.
No, that's exploiting. No, that's exploiting it.
Yeah, that's not him.
But he wants so go into a bank.
That's the right thing to do.
He's busy chasing down terrorists. He's got shit to do, man. Like,
how about a personal appearance, a lecture?
Then it would go to charity.
How about
Yeah,
this?
you would give it all to charity.
Why not get Pepsi? Why not get Pepsi to give him some money, and he'll wear a little Pepsi logo? Guess where we're going, Matt?
Actually, that would have been a good scene if he's like, okay, I got turned down from the bank. I need to make some cash. Let me be a spokesperson. And then they put him on a commercial. He's like, this isn't me. This is bullshit. And
Yeah. You know what's funny is that reminds me of we just recently rewatched, which a film that I really enjoy and is funny, from 1999, Mystery Man.
Yeah.
I like Sean, I never saw that. I remember the film. I never saw it.
Greg Kinnear.
Yeah, he was
I like Greg Kinnear.
Captain America.
Captain Amazing, and he's got all the sponsors all over his thing. Yeah. And it's funny though, when you watch that now, even though that movie is much more goofy and silly, Captain Amazing, there's shades of like Homelander. You know, it's like a sillier version of Homelander.
He could have been. He reminds me a little bit of Greg Kinnear.
He could have played. Yeah, I mean, look, the guy who plays Homelander is genius. He's perfect.
Oh, he's great. He's so great.
It's surprising how similar those characters are in a way. But I thought that was interesting. But yeah, I like that movie.
Oh,
yeah, it's a fun movie.
There's a handful of gags that I think are.
Yeah, it's a gag. It's a gag-filled kind of movie. But I know it was a big bomb. But I was surprised. I'd forgotten how much money they spent on it. Like it was a big budget world they created, and I mean, the cast must cost a fortune. But
hey, we forgot to bring up the Incredibles.
Oh, it's true.
Sure.
You're right.
Yeah,
fantastic.
I love the Incredibles.
Disney now. You've got the theater in WandaVision showing the Incredibles because it's a Disney project.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
And Kamen Rider, of course.
Yeah.
Sure.
Kamen Rider is whatever you think about Ultraman. Kamen Rider is absolutely a superhero.
No, look. I'm going to give you that, Matt. I'm going to give. I just feel that that's going to. It was going to take us down a road that is a different road.
Yeah.
You were almost going to say a dead end.
It just shows.
You were almost going to say a dead end.
Guys, it just shows that how incredibly huge and multifaceted the superhero genre is right now.
Yes.
I mean, in so many movies, so many different studios and franchises and TV shows, it's insane, but it's good. I mean, you could spend literally the rest of your life if you just watched superhero movies and TV shows that could last you for the next 10 years.
Again, Sean, it's like what you and Matt said. It's a magical time.
It's a golden era.
It's a golden era. And as of right now, Sean, I don't see it slowing down, at least for another like 7 years.
Yeah.
I made a mistake a couple episodes ago when we had the director of Carnosaur
Just a couple?
Well, okay. One particular mistake that comes to mind is when we had Adam Simon, the director of Carnosaur, on, and we were talking about the next zeitgeist, and I said, well, there's so many options now for content that everything's competing. I don't know if there's going to be another zeitgeist.
Yeah.
But I was wrong because, I mean, maybe a few years ago it was Game of Thrones. Now it's the MCU, and it's looking like it's going to continue to be that way for a while.
Yeah,
that's true. No, I don't see any signs of it weakening.
And with these 3 TV series, where they were very smart, that's such a great way to keep it alive. Because, each single episode of Loki, WandaVision, Falcon, and the Winter Soldier are like mini movies.
Yes.
I mean, the production values and what they spend on and the quality is incredible. So it's that's why it's keeping it alive.
And another thing about Falcon and Winter Soldier, the fight scenes, the action scenes are good. We're so good, like better than some of the movies.
Yeah. It's incredible. I know. I agree. And again, I remember when as good as Richard Donner's Superman was, and even Superman 2 with the villains fighting, they were still hampered by what you could do with physical fights.
Sure.
So
guys on wires.
Right. So then when Sam Raimi's Spider-Man came out, and then the first Iron Man, and you started, oh my God, they can make this believable, and it's like it's incredible. Yeah.
That's why I get so annoyed when somebody like Bill Maher will come out and talk a bunch of shit about Star Wars or, superhero movies. All the movies are superhero movies. And
it's like the Scorsese quote. And it's like, well, he's kind of leaving himself a little vulnerable too, because when was the last great movie he made? I mean, he was a great filmmaker, but what was the last one?
Yeah.
There's got to be a little bit of element of jealousy there.
I would also love to see Scorsese do a Marvel movie.
Exactly.
Can you?
Exactly.
Yes, Matt. Yes.
The fact
I
that
bet he would
one.
be great.
The
I bet
right
he would.
one.
I bet he'd be great.
This is now,
Yeah.
people need to understand. This is also a man who hated sports. Hated with a capital H, made one of the greatest boxing films of all time.
Right.
And it's like
Raging Bull is a perfect movie.
Raging Bull was more than just boxing.
You're
and
right,
it's like
that's true though. The MCU people should literally turn around and go to Scorsese and like, look, hey,
you are a brilliant filmmaker.
make
Kenneth Branagh did Thor.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you had Robert Redford in Winter Soldier. I mean, like you can the pedigree. You notice that everybody now wants to be in these movies and these shows. I mean, it's like everybody in Hollywood is like.
Well, also imagine the press.
I was just about to say that, James.
Yeah.
The selling point of it.
Yeah.
Like they changed my mind. I read the script. I was wrong.
Another thing.
And
yes,
I'm going to do it.
De Niro was in Joker, and Joker was very Taxi Driver and Scorsese.
That's true. Right.
Another thing too, Sean. One of the things that Scorsese has been going through is similar to what Coppola went through in the sense that, yes, they were considered to be great filmmakers, but studios were apprehensive about giving them so much money to make their films.
Right.
Here, it's like, this is a known commodity. We do well at Marvel,
and they
spend
it's like
the
money, but it's put up
and they would make
screen.
sure that this brilliant filmmaker had everything he needed to do this vision the way he wanted to, and that's something I think it would be a brilliant idea.
I'd like to see
really interesting.
Yeah. I can imagine like if Kubrick was alive today, if they let him like make a Marvel film. Like,
well, I don't know about I don't know.
I would definitely see it.
Yeah,
he would do a Doctor Strange movie. I could see that.
I mean, the fact, like you said,
Captain America.
People running the MCU are.
No. I was just saying because it's Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah.
Well, no, it has nothing to do with that. It has to, Captain America. Doctor Strange has all the weird shit, and so I think that whole sequence
because the MCU is run by the right people that they know. They can handpick people, but they're still smart about it. They know they're going to pick the right people for this stuff. So it's genre's still going super strong.
And I also like, Sean, how you mentioned, even let's say the weakest, and I know you're not a fan of Captain Marvel, even the weakest film is still pretty darn good compared to other stuff that's out there.
To lesser, right? Yeah,
I'd say that.
Yeah. They always look solid and the production values are amazing. And there's always aesthetic and creative elements of them that are just top notch.
John, I'm not, as you know, I'm not a fan of that movie either, but I'll bet you if both of us saw that film and there was no other MCU film,
exactly.
Oh, hey, that was pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's also, it was based on this comic book storyline about, the whole Screed.
I love that part.
Yeah, which I'm sure.
Brie Larson.
What
you
wasn't
didn't like Brie Larson?
Awful.
The Scree, though. The Scree, is it called the Scree?
The Scree, I think, right?
Didn't they originate?
Kree.
Okay.
Kree.
Did they?
And the Skrulls.
The Skrulls, right? And didn't they originate in the Fantastic Four stories? I thought that's.
Forget if it was Fantastic Four or Avengers, but I think it might have been Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Well, that's part of the fun of all this too, because you can actually, you find out about these characters, and if you didn't read the comics, you can look them up like on Wikipedia and see what.
Look at you guy.
The drawn versions really looked like. And my favorite moment in WandaVision was the Halloween episode where they were wearing their original.
Yes,
just like Richard Grant. And Richard Grant as Loki. Seeing him in that outfit was so.
I never thought I would see an actor wearing that costume.
I know, it's great.
I love references like that.
Me
like
too.
In the first X-Men, where they go like, what did you expect us to wear? Yellow spandex?
It's great.
Like, well, yeah.
I just want to say, so this universe whole started around like 2008, 2009. I'm actually at the point now where, when we watched Walking Dead, I was very excited about it, and then you got kind of tired, and then you went in a direction I didn't like. I am still just excited when I go to the theater and I see a preview for a new Marvel movie. I go,
and that Marvel logo now.
Yes, that
images.
Theme. Yeah. Sean, I still get excited by that.
That's why. So we're talking about 25 movies. Whereas like the DC, they make 2 Wonder Woman movies and they fuck up the second one. It's kind of like amazing. It's like, it's amazing to the MCU of how the quality control is amazing. It's like is just run really well.
I mean, I'm still hopeful. I'm hoping that DC. It's not fair to say DC. I'm hoping that Warner's will get it right.
I want DC. I do. All the DC films are just like they're not. They're not in the same league, really. You know?
Well, and it's also they suffer the comparison. I mean, if the Marvel movies didn't exist, then Dawn of Justice would be like the greatest superhero movie.
But I would say if the MCU didn't exist, you wouldn't have the DC films that you have because they're trying to copy MCU.
Yes, I agree with Sean.
Who knows what they would have done? I mean, that's the problem. But
I agree.
It's funny. I forgot to mention. There was one more movie because I was centering mostly on MCU films when I was picking my 5.
Right.
But I think Batman Begins is way better than The Dark Knight.
Really?
Absolutely. As a script, way better. There are so many.
I'd have to see them again.
So many plot flaws. I love Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker. He's great. What I love about Batman Begins is such a great origin story. The way that you see Batman becoming Batman.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That's true. I like that. I'd have to. I do want to see those Batman films again. Not like the Tim Burton ones. I've never been a huge fan of. But that other set, I should revisit again.
No,
I do like The Dark Knight. I'm not saying I don't like that movie.
Heath Ledger to me is fascinating in it, but what I really love about it is the take on the Joker being a don't give a shit pure anarchist, which I've never
like that
seen
too.
before. You know,
I like that too.
Okay, he's a clown, he's laughing, he's evil, but here he's an actual anarchist,
right?
And it works perfectly for the movie and the story. And I also want to pick up on something that Sean said earlier, which was how they made such a big deal out of how the Tim Burton Batman was going to go dark as opposed to the 60s TV series. And the thing is, especially looking at it now, it ain't that dark. It's almost like it's as comic-y as the TV series was.
In some ways, but I think back then, but the aesthetics of it are dark.
Because that's all we had to compare it to.
Yes,
it wasn't that long until Joel Schumacher got his hands on it and put it right back to the TV series.
True, yeah.
But not in a good way.
Yeah.
No.
Minus all the humor and charm.
Right. Yeah.
I will say, Sean, perhaps it's a product of the times. I do remember, and we talked about this on a previous show, in '89, when I went to it wasn't a screen, it was like a comic convention kind of thing, and there was nervousness about Warner Brothers released this film because there was pushback for Michael Keaton, Tim Burton, and they had these guys come out from marketing department to get people excited, and they said, here's the car, here's how Michael Keaton looks. And I remember being in the audience and having people go, ooh. It was almost like when you said it or put it on paper, it didn't sound good. But then when you saw the visuals and the music, I really loved the music in it. You know, the Danny Elfman music. And I remember being excited about, and I did enjoy it at the time. But it's like part of me feels like I've grown up since then, and then the next set of Batman figures.
It really was never good. Keaton was never good. Sorry,
it just doesn't hold up. But also, it's just. It's as much of a Tim Burton movie more in a way than it is a superhero movie. And of course he's cast Keaton because he was in Beetlejuice and Nicholson was like almost too much at times to me, and like
and it's anticlimactic too.
It's like elements work, but to me, and we've said this before, it's not a very good action movie. The action sequence is not that good.
Pretty lame.
It's kind of clunky. It's clunky.
No, I agree.
It's like, but it's still there was like we said, there was nothing else like this at the time, so it did well. People, I think, unlike certain movies, time has not been good to that one.
I like the second one better,
but.
I think that was a Catwoman, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Sean, would you agree that one doesn't hold up? But I still say the Donner Superman 1 in '79 still holds up to me.
100%.
Yeah. What dates the Donner films really simply is the effects and technology.
Yes.
Because the story and acting and everything else and the heart is all timeless.
Yeah.
It was done.
But so much to the point that you forgive any shortcomings of the special effects because it is.
And the script is so good.
Yeah, it's a super movie, true super movie.
Is this how you get your kicks?
I love it. I love it, and it's one of those films. It just brings me back to a magical time. My dad took me to see that film, and remember me and my dad just seeing that together in this big, beautiful screen, and it was just such a wonderful experience.
And you got the sense that they were maybe starting a franchise, and they put a lot of care into it.
Yes,
and that's
right. Because this was a time when, because Star Wars had been such a huge hit, everybody thought, okay, let's bring back Star Trek really big. Let's bring back superheroes really big. And it was like, but the first Superman movie still is great. And
again, for anybody who hasn't seen the Richard Donner cut for 1 and 2, they're both available, and it's a revelation. It's almost
I have to see that, actually. I have not seen that. Yeah,
especially for Superman 2, because there's a lot more Brando in it, and it's terrific.
Cool.
Agreed.
Watch superhero
movies and TV shows.
Superhero movies,
Marvel,
anything involving superheroes. Watch anything involving superheroes.
And then at the very end, Matt, you should just go, even Captain Marvel.
Yes, it's in your best.
I feel like that's you.
Yeah, maybe Sean, that's you. Maybe he's like, even Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I guess.
And then I can go, no.
No, don't do that.
No, I mean, maybe don't want to diss.
No, I don't want to be negative.
What if we do? Or we could do like watch anything with superheroes, like Godzilla.
And then Larry should go, no. Yeah. And then
okay.
Yeah.
How about this? How about this? Sean goes, even Captain Marvel, and then you could go, and Godzilla, and then go, no.
There we go. Okay. We got it. Okay. James, you happy with that?
Brilliant.
Thank you. He looks at us like, I don't listen to anything you guys say, so what do I know?
Whatever, go ahead.
Yeah, make with the sounds from the mouth, from your mouth hole.
All right.